see of the dying and shameless, I see of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, everyone. You want me to explain it, Whispers, or you want to explain it because we're doing something different today?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay, today, since it is Forgotten Whispers last day for on the Spotlight Week, we are doing a dual stream together to end it. We have both streams going at the same time, so I don't know if you guys can see my stream, the people in my stream, but we are going to be answering both streams. So if there's any questions or anything, we will be happy to answer them, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. And welcome in, everyone. How's your afternoon going, you guys? I'm loving doing these afternoon lives. I love them, I love them. So welcome in, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to do something just a little bit different. We might get into, a little bit of the drama after all of this, but I was sent a documentary, and I hope that I don't get struck or whatever. So I'm going to try to be stopping quite a bit, so that I can follow 2S and copyright all that stuff. Hopefully, but I mean some channels. I mean it doesn't matter anyways. There's they'll strike you. Maybe not strike you, but you know what I mean. Put a copyright against you. So anyways, okay, so I was sent this documentary, and it is about a school for troubled teens, and the story is not very good. So please, everybody, pay attention to my banner running at the bottom, okay? Trigger warning. This is, can we get trigger warning in the chat? This is going to be probably hard to listen to for some people, but I think it's important that we talk about this kind of stuff. So, like Jen said, we are streaming both on my channel and Jen's channel. I am also in my basically a detective channel. I'm going to try and stream when I talk about the true crime. I'm going to try and stream at as many places as I can so that I can get that other channel built up. I'm also on Twitter. So 4 places, you guys. We're streaming 4 different places tonight. Woo woo. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to bring up with you guys is this documentary that I have had forwarded to me. Okay. And before we get right into it and start, I just want to take a little bit of a second to just go through the chat and say hello to some people. Hello, Stargazer Mom, Sam, Nicole, Nikki, hello, sweetheart, Amac, Thor, how are you? Hello, DBSC, I'm glad you're making these lives now. Thank you so much for the trigger warning. I appreciate that. I'll leave that up there for a bit. Sad, my sweetheart, of course. T. Marie, Mama Bear, Rebel Rose. Hello, 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 everyone for coming in. Hello, Yanni, sweetheart. How are you? Hey, Lisa, how are you? I haven't seen you for a little while, so good to see you. Good to see you. Who else we got here? Retired RN. Good to see you, darling. Nicole S. I believe is coming from Jen's channel, so welcome
Yep.
in. Absolutely, welcome in. And a Dutch Oma. Hello, hello, Spudler. Mama Bear 222. Oh, you guys are keeping me busy in the chat here. I love it. Hello, True Seeker. How are you? How are you?
Thank
And
you,
there was
Dragon. Sorry.
yes, yes, Dragon is also from your channel. So
Yep.
welcome in everybody. I love to see everyone. I love you. Oh, there she is. Sassy Diamond Dart. Hello, welcome in, welcome in. True Seeker, hello, hello. Okay, oh, there we go. Great Gazoo. That's interesting.
That one
It's
ain't on my side. That's on your side, sis.
Knuckle shots. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Hello, K Braves. Hello, hello. All right, okay. Hello, Cheese. Hello. I have to say hello, my Cheese. How are you, Cheese? Hello, Sofa Mama. How are you? Okay, I think I almost made it to the top. T Marie, sweetheart. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, let me whoop down to the bottom here. Stargazer Mom, thank you very much. Member for 6 months. That's awesome. I appreciate that, sweetheart. I really do. I really do. With the Sofa Mama has questions. Okay. Ooh, I probably like whipped by them. I'm sure. Can you put them in the can you just put them in the chat again? Sofa Mama? I'd be happy to answer them if I can. Absolutely. So yeah, welcome in, everybody. Okay, Sofa Mama does. Okay, that's fine. Yes, it was about what sad said last evening about myself. It's going to happen. If you wanted to reach out to her, or she is here today. So, I mean, honestly, people get told stuff, and then other people get told stuff, and all that stuff. But I know that you've been a sub for me for a long time. You're welcome here, absolutely. So I think maybe it was just miscommunication, maybe something. When she stated I came into your chat, and that's because I didn't have a branch. That never happened. I'm like, okay. And secondly, she told mods to watch out for me. Oh well.
Yeah, I made sorry, adjust your focus just came in, so but I have 2 mods in there now, so we're good.
No, Okay, good, awesome. That's good. That's good. So Flo, like I said, um I don't, yeah, no, I don't think you have ever had a wrench. That's true. You've never had a wrench. So I think maybe it's just miscommunication. You know how these streets are. I just want to not be in the drama. Absolutely. Absolutely. I also think it was like a little bit of, I think Gina had the idea that you were making a video for her and then it wasn't actually you. It was, so maybe that, kind of, put, KCG, yeah, we're good, I'm sure. Absolutely. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we have, Yanni and Nikki and Mint Mama. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, we're good, sweetheart. You can just hang out. Yeah. Hello,
Yep.
Eva. How are you? How are
You
you?
relax, son.
Yeah. On your panel, as it was the truth. I do remember her saying something like that. So, and hope that you did hear me say, that you've been a sub for mine for a while, and you've never been shady towards me. And I mean, I've never seen you do anything shady anywhere else either. So I will put that out there. So yeah, if Sav is here, I'm sure that you can maybe reach out and you guys can maybe try and. I'm respectful to everyone. Yeah, absolutely, you are. Yeah. I apologize for that, Slowful Mama, and I didn't, I didn't mean to make you feel in an awkward position, having that little chat on my panel. But you're very welcome here, sweetheart. So, you always have been. You always have been. So I hope that you'll stick around. I really do. Okay, so the documentary that we are going to watch, I haven't watched too much of it myself, because all of you should know that I really like watching things with you, so that we can discover it together. We can share our expressions, our opinions, or whatever about it, right? So Pluma, I'm not here for the BS. That's all. I appreciate you, Wispy. I just don't like Sam telling your chat to watch out for me and the wrench thing. Yeah, you've never had a wrench here. Absolutely. And I know that Sav is a very protective over everyone here, especially my channel. So I think maybe it was just miscommunication.
Yeah.
I hope that you two will maybe be able to.
Always, here's the thing. Always check with the person. Go straight to that person to find out what's what. Don't go on rumors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. But she was here, and yeah, absolutely. And she, I understand that. I totally understand that. And I apologize if that made you feel awkward in my chat. So, um, yeah, I love you. I always have. Yeah. So, Flo Mama, yes, she did say it on my panel. Absolutely. I do remember that. So, I apologize, like I said, if it made you feel uncomfortable, which I'm sure it would. I mean, I hope it would make anybody feel uncomfortable, right? So, um, I apologize for that. So, okay. So uh, this documentary is called "Terror at the Elan School for Troubled Teens." The last stop, a full documentary. So I wanted to watch this with you guys. Like I said, it was sent to me by a sub, and I of course I gravitate to stories like this, just because of my history and my past and stuff like that. So I tend to gravitate to stories like this. So I'm really appreciative of Cheese was the one that sent this to me. So I really appreciate that one. He did send this to me. So let's get into this and let's check it out, you guys. Please remember, trigger warning. This is going to talk about abuse. So if you need to step out, then that's absolutely fine. Take a breather, take a moment if you need to. This is absolutely not about, trying to trigger anybody or trying to, but the stories like these just need to be out. So it's kind of crazy. And I will also mention that this was from this documentary here is from posted on this channel, was from 1 year ago. So this is, although I'm not sure, we'll see how it ends. If this is still a place that's in today's news. It would be interesting to follow up on it if there's not a conclusion at the end of this. So just a couple of things here. Thor, thank you for becoming a new member. I really appreciate that. And also Eva, welcome you guys. I appreciate that. Welcome to the backwoods. Let me see if I can
Welcome.
move up and find the stuff. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Welcome you guys. Awesome.
Hey, could one of my mods please post go over to Forgotten Whispers and post her membership, please? So if anybody would like to become a member of hers, mine's not up yet, but if you would like to become a member of Forgotten Whispers Backwoods, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, that's awesome, Jen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, you are welcome to post live your channel also in my chat. So absolutely, you guys. And please go and sub over to Jen. She's going to be starting to get into some good stuff, I think. So go give her a sub up and let's get her to be able to get monetized herself. We can do that.
I need watch hours, guys.
You need what?
I need watch hours bad.
Yeah. So if you guys are able to help out, go to Jen's channel and put on one of her lives and just let it play, and that would be awesome. That would be awesome. This documentary exposes some of the bad things that go on in them. Yes, absolutely. And I thank you, Cheese. Cheese also says, I like this because I grew up in a juvenile home, boys' home, and group homes. Oh, that's crazy. I did too. Although I had good foster parents in the system. I can't say that I was treated badly, other than being adopted. My adopted family, my adopted father, not my adopted. It's my adopted father. So, yeah. But I did have a good experience with the foster system up here in Canada. So I had good foster moms and dads, and the ones that had me, I was only in one foster home my whole life. When I was small, we got taken away from our real parents. We got put into foster home. The foster home that I was in is the same family and same foster home that I went back to when I was 12 years old after talking about being abused in my family. So I always had the same foster mom and dad, and they are still today part of my life. So it's kind of cool. It's awesome. So yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's get into this. Quit talking. Let's be so, hey, Gizmo, welcome in. How are you? Okay, here we go, guys. Remember, trigger warning, please.
There's a way to make an entrance. This is my destiny. It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
The link to this video is in the description of this live. So if you guys wanted to, give it a thumbs up or whatever, you can find it in the description. So awesome. Thank you, guys.
Where would you all be if you weren't here? Where would you end up? You'd either be in jail, in a hospital, or dead. Okay? You know, it's time to take your life seriously.
This is actually really, I watched this very first part. Okay. Thank you for the trigger warning. Hello, Hilly Man. How are you? I said Hilly, but it's Hillbilly. Hello, Hillbilly Man. Welcome in. This is it's quite harsh. Okay, it's real, it's raw, it's in your face. So please keep that in mind while we're watching this. I just want to protect you guys. That's all. That's why I keep trying to make sure that you guys know exactly what we're watching here. So anyways, hello, adjust your focus. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, here we go, you guys.
Seriously. Get your feelings off.
You're a worthless piece of shit! You're nobody to me! I'll fucking slay you! You foreign motherfucker! You like a piece of shit! I'll kill your fucking liver and beat you fucking with it! Piece of shit asshole! I'll fucking kill you! I don't give a fuck who you are! You're nobody! You're stuck here for good! And I'll make sure of that! Fuck you!
Okay, so I'm gonna try to stop and read what goes in there because it kind of gives me an oh god, the stupid speaker keeps talking to me. Hang on, you guys, I just gotta turn this off. Sorry. My Bose speaker keeps talking to me. So I'm trying to stop and read when the words come out because it gives me something now to stop, another reason to stop the video because I really want to get through this. It's going to be powerful, I think so. And it says, with eagerness of spirit, we shall find ourselves through knowing others.
My parents tell me, they're like, well, next week we're going to look at boarding schools and just pack enough stuff, for a week or whatever. And we're just going to go look at 2 or 3 different schools. So I was like, okay, cool. Called my friends. I was like, oh, I'm going to be gone for a week. I'll see you in a week, Packed a bag, took all my music with me because I didn't go anywhere without my music. Left everything else behind. And I'm like, well, I thought we were going to Massachusetts. And my parents the plane is going to Maine.
I did not want to go up to Maine. I'd already heard a little bit about it ahead of time. And I knew it was going to be very strict, though I didn't.
So that first girl there was kind of a little bit tricked a little bit, and she wasn't really kind of honestly told where she was going, I don't think.
No, just how strict.
It used to be that we had bad kids who were locked away in reform schools and sick kids who were locked away in mental hospitals. But in the past decade, we've been seeking an alternative. Instead of simply punishing unacceptable behavior, we've been looking for ways to change that behavior. This facility, called Elan, claims to be able to do that.
Why was I sent there?
That's heavy, man. Why was I in Elan?
From a very young age, things went very badly for me.
I was pretty angry and confused about a lot of things, and I was just constantly trying to distract myself. So I was whatever drugs I can get a hold of, if that was what it was, or just not going to school.
Freshman year, I'm trying to think, I put roaches in a girl's purse. as a prank pre-lunch, so she'd like open them and whatever. School charged me with assault for that.
Hello, Art. Welcome in. We are watching a documentary about a school for troubled teens and the abuse that they suffered at this school. That was supposed to reform them and fix them, quote unquote. So yeah.
For that.
Well, I was always in trouble with the law. When I was 8 or 9 years old, if you had something that I wanted, I'd break in your house when you weren't there and take it.
I got jumped by a couple of juniors.
Welcome,
I
Art.
beat the fuck out of one kid who started it, and they charged me with assault and battery for that. And then just a whole lace of litany of bullshit like that. Pretty much, it was all the same. Or like instigating a fight, or being involved in this. Me, oh well, you know, I mean,
that sounds like just normal, typical behavior to me for a teenager, right? I mean, I guess I absolutely understand. It can get out of control for sure, but yeah, I don't know about this. My parents, I don't know. Honestly, I left that home when I was 12 years old. So before I was 12 years old, my parents were talking about like putting me in a convent. And if you know what a convent is like a place where you go to like live with nurses or nuns and stuff. And I guess they teach you how to be. I'm not too sure, but my parents were like, yeah, we're gonna say. They even had pamphlets and stuff like that. So it was like, what the fuck? No, I don't want to be a nun. Like, I mean, sorry. Like, no, no shame on somebody who wants to go down that road or whatever. But I was not interested, right? Exactly, right, Mama Bear. I was kind of an asshole too when I was a teen, right? I didn't get into like really bad trouble, but I had a mouth on me, and I got in trouble in school for sure. I was always sitting in the hallway or sitting in the office or something. Right?
I think we all have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Hey, Karen, how are you? Trigger warning for
Hello.
today, honey. Yes, trigger warning for today.
And anybody that's coming in, we are doing a dual stream, guys. Where
Yes.
my side was finishing up the spotlight with Forgotten Whispers, and this is how we're gonna end it out. So I'm pretty much letting her, show everybody what she does.
Awesome. You are
stream.
so amazing. I love you so much.
Love you so much too, sissy.
Yes. You were put into placements via the courts. Interesting. Interesting. Same girl, my mouth. right? Exactly. Oh my goodness. No, thank you. Adjust your focus. I appreciate that. Okay, here we go, you guys.
I mean, I could get laid, smoke a lot of bud, enjoy myself, have good music, like to go see the Grateful Dead. I know for me, it was pretty much about getting as fucked up as you could, dancing as hard as you could for as long as you could, and listening to music. Or I could go home, be to bed at 10 o'clock, get up at 6, go to school. It was a no-brainer. It's just, when you start at 12, they get kind of a little pissy about it. I started using drugs when I was like 13. I mean, if you consider marijuana a drug, like I was 13. I snorted coke when I was like 14 at some house party I was at. Prior to me going to Elan, I was mostly smoking pot and eating acid, drinking occasionally.
Drinking was getting really dangerous and out of control. About a month before I went to Elan, I ran away off a home pass from a psych hospital and stole a bunch of beer out of the back of a restaurant. And they found me on a friend's driveway. While on lithium and Prozac, I drank all this beer and just basically passed out on their lawn. They thought I was dead.
When I found out about Peter's heroin use, I was very scared for him.
My mother came in my room and
I will also add that, like, I don't know, it's hard to blame parents for like the actions that they take with their kids when they're younger. As long as it's not abuse and all that kind of stuff, of course. Right. But like if you're just trying to protect your kid or you're trying to, change their life or, send them down on a different road that, they should, one that is opposite of the world that they're going down. I totally can understand that. And like I said, I haven't watched all of this, so it'll be interesting to see like how the parents, because some parents would be just like, no, you're staying there, you don't get, whatever. And other parents may be like, no, I'm going to take my kid out of here because this is crazy. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to see on this documentary for sure. So yeah.
And my friend and I were shooting up.
I ratted him out because I was that scared.
I was going to buy bud for my girlfriend, and I was getting me Adderall for like tests and shit. Yeah, pinch with that. I think it was like a quarter of weed and like a couple pills.
And I was on probation at the time. So my mother called my probation officer, and I woke up the next morning and he was standing at the foot of my bed with a urine cup.
Possession intent to distribute it in a school zone.
Well, that's never good, right? When your parents are standing there with a urine cup, that's not good. You know something's fucking happening. You know something's happening. Oh my goodness. I feel my parents put me in law because they were workaholics and alcoholics, and didn't know how to put energy into a rebellious teen. Oh, that's sad, actually. That's sad. My parents put me on the chins petition, and I got put in placement also for 3 months. When I got home at 14, I moved out with my 24-year-old boyfriend. Oh my goodness, 14 and 24. Woo!
Wow.
Although, I mean, I dated an older guy when I was younger too, but not that big of an age gap. So, goodness, girl. I would, my daughter, well, my granddaughter right now, my oldest granddaughter is 13. And I could tell you I would be kicking somebody's fucking ass if they were like 23 or 24 dating my 13-year-old daughter, my granddaughter. That's for sure. I definitely would have problems. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, let's keep going here, you guys.
Fucking horrible. At 15, like caught like a class, whatever, like possession intent to distribute charge. Like that's what ruined me.
It started when I was a kid at about 8, when my dad died. And I got slightly out of control with mom and couldn't handle me and all that, I guess. And I ended up in one home.
When they started sending me to group homes and foster homes and things like that is where I learned how to misbehave, and I learned about drugs, and I learned, because I didn't know any of that stuff when I was living.
See, did you hear what she said when she was sent to group homes and foster homes and stuff like that? That's where she learned how to misbehave, and that's where she learned about drugs and all that stuff. So, yes, I thought that's a powerful statement in my eyes, because it shows that, like, the system is definitely broken, right? And I totally understand that when you put two teens together, they're going to talk, they're going to teach each other, they're going to learn from something, whatever, right? Absolutely. But it's kind of crazy that she said that. And it's very, very often true. Very often true.
Living with my mother and my stepfather, I didn't run the streets. I didn't get in trouble. I wasn't truant, any of that. It took me getting into the system to learn how to do those things.
Oh, there you go.
Back then, they really didn't have too many rules about what you could and couldn't do to kids. So, it was rather abusive, I
was in the Connecticut Junior Republic. It was a boys' home. I was little. I was from Bridgeport. I didn't know them. They didn't want to know me. They wanted to rape me. They wanted to beat the shit out of me.
And I escaped from there.
Then I got into some trouble with the law, and I was sent to Longling.
So all the bruises are showing up on me. What do you think? They didn't do anything. So you take matters in your own hand. You just get them all. Get them all at once. I barricaded the room. I let them all go. And that was the end of that.
Goodness.
I was institutionalized from when I was 13 until I was 18. There was a 3-week break that I did come home, but that's when I took that overdose of alcohol and Prozac. After I had been in the hospital for an overdose, I tried to kill myself in the hospital. I had broken a light bulb and actually cut my wrist, and then I had also run away.
I've been hospitalized several times and pretty much ran away from every place my parents put me in.
The dead were always on tour, so there was always somewhere else to go.
The more I escaped from another place, then I went to a worse place and a worse place, until I finally found myself in places that were more brutal than I wanted to deal with, put it that way.
Adolescents are
And that's very true, right? Often we end up in situations that we would never be in just because, like, maybe we're just following a friend. We're, we want to be cool or we want to, whatever. I, I'm, I'm on the teens side, really. You know what I mean? We grow up, we do stupid things. You know what I mean? And like sometimes I get it for parents is absolutely hard. I raised, four daughters with the help of step parents as well. So, but still, it's difficult. It's really hard, especially today, to raise kids with social media everywhere. Blah blah blah. It seems like these people didn't actually really have social media so much, back when stuff was happening. So it's unbelievably crazy nowadays. That is for sure. So yes.
No, back then it was we didn't have all this. We didn't have YouTube and all that. So
Yeah.
when you got together, if it was somebody you didn't realize that was a bad influence, then you're just caught up in it.
That's right.
lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it happens so quickly. It really, really
Yep.
does. So Black National Freedom Fighter. Hello, welcome in. Hello, Daisy
Hello, hello,
Jones.
hello.
How are you guys? Laugh at Life. I'm not sure if I said hello to you, but hello. Hello, hello. And this guy right on the screen, this is the owner of this school. He doesn't look very nice.
are very shrewd. If you go into a hospital and you don't want to stay there,
That's
all you
true,
have to do
Nikki.
is make an aggressive gesture at a nurse, and you're kicked out.
Gets
All
a
you
no
have to
rights
do
back
is light
then.
your bed on fire, and you're kicked out. So consequently, kids learn how to get out of treatment.
They were trying to find a school that would keep me, no matter how many times I ran away. Finally, in August, when I was 12, they shipped me up to Elan because Elan said that they kept runaways.
At Elan, the first thing they learn is you're not going to get out of here. If you burn the place down, we'll sleep in a tent together. No matter how many times you run away, we will go and get you. Why? Because we have a commitment, all right, to you and to ourselves.
What I did.
I don't know about that. Thor says many times things sort out later in life. I wish you never had to go through all that pain and tortures. And that is very, very true. That is very, very true. And I often tell that to my kids, actually, like when they're having a hard time. They're young. They have their young families. They have kids. They have jobs. They're struggling to pay their bills, like just like any other, young family that's like growing up and just trying to figure it out, And I often tell them, like when they get stressed about, a bill not being paid or, being able to buy a little bread or whatever, I always let them know, like, you always make it. You're here. Your kids are fine. They're healthy. They're not starving. They're hungry. What I mean? They got every freaking toy under the sun. Like, I mean, like it's something that we need to actually keep in our minds that we're gonna make it, no matter what we go through. We always come out on the other side. And
Nikki,
sadly, go ahead.
Nikki Oshie, you're wondering how much those homes got paid. They get paid. It depends, but I know back when I lived in Pennsylvania, they only got paid for each child, like $2 for each child.
Oh, I know. It's probably quite higher.
And they had a certain fund for them that they can get, that was the child's money, and they had to make they have to make sure you
right, yeah,
use that money for the child. But yeah, they only got they only get like $2 a child. That's in Pennsylvania though.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It'd be interesting to I'll try and figure out what they were paid. Maybe we'll say in here. Oh, Cheese is saying this one cost over $40,000 a year.
Oh wow.
So they're making money off of these kids, right? Like, I mean, I get it. Like some place like this, you're probably obviously going to have to pay some kind of money, towards it to have your kids be there. I get that. But sometimes that's a little bit much. $40,000 a year, that's a lot. That is a lot of fucking money. I'm telling you that. So, okay, here we go, you guys.
What I did was wrong. They did CAT scans on me. and all that. And so next thing I know, I went before a judge.
Instead of me going to Leahy in Worcester, which is like the juvenile facility they have out here, they offered up a plea for me to go to Alon instead.
I was 12. They said, you're going away until you turn 18.
They were explaining that it would be like more intense than juvie, pretty much.
I got on a plane. I went to Elon.
The court officers took me to an airport where Dr. Davidson came down on the plane. I had never had a driver's license. I had never paid attention to where we were going. And all of a sudden, I was in the middle of the woods in Maine.
I was like, I'm in the fucking boondocks. This is like nuts.
Some of the kids have mentioned that they or their peers were snatched. What does that mean?
Yeah, I remember that night.
Well, it's usually in the morning, you see, when 4 residents, generally big people, you know, or taller and heavier, will show up at someone's house and go into a new resident's bedroom and say, "Hi, Johnny, we're from Elon and we'd like you to come with us." And they talk very nicely, but they're big and they're strong and they're insistent.
So like a goon squad. Like they're sending like a goon squad to go pick up these kids.
Yeah.
Could you imagine waking up to like... Go ahead, babe.
Well, you look at other videos, I mean, of how CPS or whatever it's called now, they have, you know, they have the cops or whatever else. They'll come in and if they want you to come with them, if you like it or if the child likes it or not, they will literally pick up the child and take them out.
Yeah,
Anybody, you know?
Yeah, it's horrible. That's horrible. Could you, like, I just can't imagine like waking up and there's like 4 fucking these big goon looking guys in your bedroom and they want to take you away. Like, what? You know, that must be like terrifying. I would think it would be anyways. My goodness.
And there are 4 of them. And so it happens.
I was sleeping in my bed, and probably at about 4 a.m., 2 guys came into my room, woke me up.
4
One of the guys
a.m.
said, "We're taking
Wow.
you to your new school." My mom was telling me this was for the best.
Hey, Amberly.
Tried to run. They grabbed me, and they threw me in a van and drove me up to Poland Springs, Maine.
So I get off the plane, and there's like 2 kids, just gigantic, huge
little man.
kids, like maybe a year older, maybe 2 years
Froggy
older
girl.
than me, and like 2 adults. They're like, "We're taking you to the school." You know, they didn't really tell me too much about where I was going. So all of a sudden, we're like going up this like dusty dirt road,
I just remember thinking, you know, God, this place is out in the middle of nowhere.
and there's like these like scattered houses. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm going to summer camp.
And, you know, after you're in Long Lane for 6 months, you know, anything looks better. And a couple of staff came with really pretty pictures of the lake and, you know, the property. And, you know, it looked really nice. And they were talking about, you know, the horseback riding and canoeing and hiking and house trips. And I thought that I was going from complete lockup to summer camp paradise.
I'm like, where's the swimming pool, the horses, and the tennis courts?
So now, when I arrived in August of '73, VJ Day, as a matter of fact, I saw this white
73. Wow. That was 50 years ago. Almost 51. That's my year. It's a good year, I tell you.
Victorian house sitting up on the hill, and my parents brought me in, and I was taken right into the director's office. Joe Ritchie.
We don't bullshit kids. We don't tell kids that this is some kind of utopia, that everything is going to work out for you.
And so they bring me into this trailer,
and we were being told about the program.
Look my mother straight dead in the eye and say, "This is the last stop on the bus."
Not one time did anybody say, even hinted at what I was about to go through.
If you don't send your son here, he's going to be dead. You can count on it.
you have 6 minutes to say goodbye to your parents, and if you say anything disrespectful to them, I'm going to put you in a corner.
Wow.
And I just looked at my dad, and I just was like shaking my head. I started crying. I was like just looked at him, because me and my dad were closer. Me and my mom always had issues. Me and my dad were very close.
Hey, Donna.
So I was in my started shaking his head, and my dad started crying, and my mom was just like, I can't, and like they left.
Hey, mother too.
I couldn't believe they were going to leave me there. But after a while, they did, you know.
I agree, Rebel. Oh my goodness. Did you see that one part in there where it said that they could never sue them? Oh my goodness.
I brought my.
They set it up good, you know? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's the
See,
thing
that
it
to me.
sucks. I mean, that's the thing it sucks
Yeah.
is once they take that child out, you have a hell of a time getting that child back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell of a time.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. My goodness.
Brought Mike here today. I just cried. And I knew, and the people in school knew that he was coming up here to stay.
You know that if he doesn't change, he's going to get arrested. You know that sooner or later, he's going to steal something to get money.
I worry.
They do get sued, Cheese. Yeah, that was like from quite a long time ago, that little contract there. So it might have changed nowadays because like people, you know, they have more rights. Kids back then didn't really have very many rights, right? You were told what to do, you were told this and that. You know, like, you know, for example, like with me, but I was in a after I got taken out of the home that I lived in for 8 years where I was adopted. I was put into, and all that shit came out about my dad. I was put into a what's called a receiving home, and it's just basically a group home for horrible kids. And the receiving home that I was put in was 2 doors down from the house that I had just been taken out of, the house where I grew up. My brothers and sisters were there, blah blah blah, and I was not allowed to go over there. But they put me in a house that was 2 doors down. I was not allowed to talk to my siblings. I wasn't allowed to go over there. I wasn't allowed to, you know, anything. They weren't allowed to come over and talk to me. But I was 2 doors down from my house, watching every day, you know, my brothers and sisters going outside, you know, hanging out around the house, my parents coming and going and all that kind of stuff, right? So that to me was, now that I look back, was a little bit abusive in my eyes. I'm not sure if like if it was intentional or I doubt it was. And I do live in a small town, absolutely. But there were other homes that I could have been put in that weren't like 2 doors down from where I grew up. And it was hard. It was hard. It was absolutely so hard. I would see like my friends, and you know, me and my sister shared friends. We all shared friends. But you know, people that I, you know, couldn't hang out with anymore and all that kind of stuff. I would see them go over there, and you know, I mean, that way it was horrible. It was horrible. So yeah, it's there definitely needs to be a revamp of the system everywhere. And I saw somebody ask if that was in Canada, and yes, it was in Canada. Yep, I am in Canada. So I lived in Canada my whole life. So yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So I relate to kind of what I wasn't abused, like I wasn't hit or anything like that, but it was hard sitting there and looking out the window, which I did all the time. You know, at the family that used to be mine. Just, you know, and also watching my dad, like he was able to go back to the house, but I wasn't. You know, I mean, it was just kind of fucked up. It was kind of sucked up. So anyway, here we go.
Worried them a lot.
The phone rings at 10 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning.
You know, they were getting calls, you know, 2, 3 in the morning from the cops.
You're shaking. You're wondering.
I agree,
what's this
Rebel.
call gonna
I
mean?
agree.
Your son's run away again. We don't know where he is.
And that's the fear that we live in. We're ready to just an example. Ready to crack.
I love him so much. I wouldn't want to lose him.
It's important for parents to know that we understand all of that. We're going to help your child work through all of that so that you can have the kid back that you remember and the one that you love.
I was raised by adopted parents who were very devout Catholics, my mother in particular, and she had a bad temper. She wasn't able to forgive me because I had bonded with one of the nuns at the infant home and preferred her over my adopted parents. You know, I'd always had an active imagination and a fantasy life, but it became more intense when I was around her. My father, he wasn't much help.
Our father was never present, and our mother drank too much, way too much.
I was taken away from my mother when I was 13. My mother had issues with alcoholism, and she married an extremely abusive man. You know, not only was he abusing my mother, but he was hitting me.
I was in a abusive home environment. You know, my mother was physically abusive, emotionally abusive.
My mother used to tie me to the radiator and beat the shit out of me.
She beat the crap out of me on several occasions.
You know,
Oh
threw
my
me in tubs
goodness.
with hot scalding water.
When I was 11 years old.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is harsh. Wow.
Wow.
That's incredible. Could you imagine, tying your own child up to anything? He said a radiator, but tying your child to anything and abusing your own child like that. It's unbelievable. It's very sad, very sad. And it happens every single day. I'm not sure. I could probably maybe check a stat, but during this live event that we're doing, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of kids out there that have gotten a punch in the face or thrown in a wall, something not fed because they didn't do something good, or locked in their room because they didn't listen or something. It's happening hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times while we're just watching this video.
Every 5 seconds, sis. Every 5 seconds, a child is getting abused,
Wow.
or an adult.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Years old, she told me to get the fuck out of the house and not come back.
I go to grab some cookie. She kicked the chair from underneath me, split my head open.
I ran into my bedroom and tried to hide.
My eye right here above my eye, the bone is fractured.
My mom came in with a belt and beat the crap out of me.
And had it not been for the Mr. Bright, the people that live next door, probably would have been dead. That's when the state removed me from her.
Wow, and it should have been. Oh my goodness. I remember one time when my adoptive dad was he got mad at me for something or whatever. And he put me over his knee and he grabbed a coffee pot, like a glass coffee pot, and he spanked me with it. And I remember that. And luckily it didn't break. But I think about that now and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Like, that is so dangerous, hitting somebody with a glass, something. I'll never forget that. It was crazy. Yeah, how does a kid possibly process stuff? Yes, process that stuff. My mother would tell me, I never wanted to go live with your father. If not, call the cops on me before I was. Oh my gosh, geez, that really breaks my heart.
Oh my gosh, she's sorry you went through that.
No, that is so sorry. I'm so sorry. Is Scotty girl out of here? I see you guys saying, oh no, she's just telling her sorry. Oh no, she's out of here. Have a great day, Gotti. I appreciate you coming in. I really do. Okay. Your mom went to slap your face so hard it left a slapped hand bruise on my face. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hugs for everybody that's here. Everybody that's here. I send you love, strength, hugs, everything. Yeah.
And with me, I know how I had a family member, I'm not gonna say which one, but was very one to drink and get really drunk and get very verbal abusive.
Wow.
Yeah,
horrible.
I grew up around, with that.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. My daughter, one of my daughters, um, she lived with her dad most of her life. Well, all of her life, I guess, because she lives on her own now. But she was with her dad. And it's because her dad is an alcoholic, was an alcoholic, still is an alcoholic. And he would drink quite often. And she never wanted to leave him because she thought that she could take care of him or change him or whatever it was. And it was sad because when he got drunk, um, he would call her horrible things. If she was wearing like a mini skirt or whatever, he would call her a whore and a slut and, why are you wearing that? You're just going out to be a fucking whore. And oh my God. Like, honestly, when I heard that, I didn't know that he was doing that to her because she never told me. And I don't talk to him too often at all. If he happens to be around at a birthday party with grandkids or whatever, then maybe I might say I don't, but I usually don't talk to him at all. So
That's how
I
I
didn't
am with
see it.
my ex.
Yeah, I didn't see it from his side at all, right? Because I never really hung out with him or nothing. But yeah, when she told me that, oh boy, I can tell you, Mama Bear was absolutely not fucking happy because that is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So horrible.
My dad, from when I was like as early as I can remember, he was physically abusive, mentally abusive, sexually abusive, and no one knew about it. My mother didn't know. It was only my brother and I who really knew, and that wasn't found out until long.
In my 17 years at Elon, I've seen a lot of kids come through the program who had some horrible relationships with family
Hi,
members
Nukin.
who all still love each other very dearly, but had really hurt each other and had really done some pretty self-destructive and destructive things to other people in their family.
But it all got twisted and it all got confused. And I think the trouble then is, where do you release this? The hurt or the stuff. Where do you then take this? Because the perpetrators aren't going to talk to you about it. Okay, so where do you take it? And I think for a lot of us that went through a lot, that I know, some things happened, and then parents needed to dump.
The parents
That was their
needed to
solution.
dump. Oh my gosh.
So for me, the first day.
No worries, Nukin. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and saying hello.
Yeah, we don't
Yes.
expect anybody to sit through this. If anybody's having trouble with this, you may leave.
Yeah.
Wait for we're not going to do this the whole segment.
No, we're not.
Just give us a little
Yeah.
bit, check back in. Nobody
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
told to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit later, I mean, it's the middle of this 3, it's like 4 o'clock. I have some time here, so we're a little bit we're going to get into some other stuff after this too. So I do have to pick up my daughter at, I think, 7 o'clock. I think 7 o'clock. She went in at 11. No, probably 8 o'clock. Sorry. I'll figure it out. So I have some time, so we'll get into some other stuff too. And yeah. So let's watch this. I'm gonna maybe speed it up just a little bit because it is an hour and 48 minutes. But I'm not gonna speed it up. I'm gonna try 1.5. If it is too fast for you guys, please let me know, okay? So yeah. Your luck that you were never physically or sexually. All mine was emotional and verbal or just ignored. Oh my goodness. But that's just as bad. Emotional and verbal abuse or just being that's horrible. That is like
I had
stuff like that, like getting hit. I think like you it's part of you. It is what happened to you, but you can get over that, something like that, But the verbal abuse and emotional abuse, that's the kind of stuff that like really, really, really sticks with people. And that is absolutely hard to get over it. So it's difficult. It really is. So um, any type of abuse is horrible, 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 especially for kids if they don't have the support behind them, or the proper resources that so many places lack for kids. Um, you have a hard road ahead of you, you know, and anybody that's listening that may be going through something right now, you can get through it. You can do it. You can make it to the other side. Don't ever give up.
Yes, you
Believe in
can.
yourself. You know, you can make it. So, yeah.
I lived through a really bad uh abusive relationship that lasted for 18 years. It took me
Yeah.
18 years to get out of it. Once my
Yeah.
son was owned up and everything, I was able to actually break free. My ex tried to actually kill me. He tried killing himself
Oh my
first,
goodness.
and before he got bad, which he didn't pass away or nothing, but he came after me. And
Okay.
I went through hell.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. That's horrible. That's horrible.
So I
Um,
knew where a lot of
yeah.
people are coming from.
Anybody, I mean, my email's open. If anybody,
Mine too.
listening through this or whatever, needs to vent or needs to, whatever, you absolutely can email me. Anonymity is 100% with me. You don't want people to know that you emailed. You don't want me to tell your story. I am absolutely fine with that. Absolutely fine. You can trust me. I would never, ever, ever dox anybody. So yes. Okay, let's keep going here.
Day was one of extreme bewilderment and an ultimate realization.
Remember, I sped it up a little bit, so if it's too fast, just let me know in the comments and I will slow it down again.
I was in for a new kind of life.
I said goodbye to my parents, and Mark Rosenberg took me down to Alon 8.
I went to Alon 3.
They sent me to Parsonsfield.
I went, of course, you go straight to the dorm, and then you have your quell shower, the famous quell.
Yeah. All that, the loud shampoo and all that shit, like going up there for your indoctrination.
You have to change your clothes and remove your jewelry and, your shoelaces and all that.
Take your fucking hat off. You gotta do this and that. Like your shirt. I'm like, just the regular emotions of like never hearing anything like this before in your life.
They asked me, why'd you run away from your last place? I'm being 16, and, I was like, I wanted to get laid. I took a girl with me, And Marty said to me, well, you can't get laid here. Can't even flirt here. And my jaw kind of dropped. And it's like, yeah, you say that, but the students will say something else.
So some kid that was my SP and Claire walked me up to Alon 7, which was
Hey,
far.
Sunnyside.
But as I'm walking up there, I'm hearing like screaming.
So I walked in the door, and the first thing they told me was, you get to leave when you change.
So I get in Alon, and I'm looking around in Alon 7, and I'm like, okay, this kid is.
Oh my goodness, Ivaparium. She says, my dad raised me alone, and then I found out when I did 23andMe during the COVID, and she found out that he wasn't her bio dad. Oh my goodness, Hippoporium. That's kind of crazy. Wow. What a story. Oh my goodness. Are you still in contact with him? Are you still is he still your dad? I know a lot of times when people find out stuff like that, they're like, I don't care. Like, my dad, so I hope you two, had a good relationship and still do, so yeah.
Kid is scrubbing the corner. This kid is wearing a fucking piece of post-it board around their neck. This kid is in the corner.
I see him in there calling his screaming, yelling,
looking miserable.
coming out crying.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Stand right there. I just remember looking around, seeing people with signs and shaved heads and somebody wearing like a clown outfit.
I thought everybody was
Oh
out of
my
their minds.
God.
I remember I was brought in during lunchtime, and I sat down at the table, and immediately I turned to the girl next to me. I'm like, this shit's fucking crazy. Like, where am I?
Where the fuck am I?
And apparently she was a non-strength. Immediately I got pulled into another room and I got dealt with.
So I started crying, like profusely crying, threw a tantrum. I was like, I'm not staying here. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, you made a mistake. Like, this is not me. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but you.
That would be me. I'd be freaking out. I'd be yelling, screaming. I don't want to come here. Let me go. Where's the door? I mean, I don't care. I'll walk back out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't give a shit, you know. That would be me. I would be the one.
That would be me too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all are fucking crazy.
I was almost begging to go back to the detention center.
It was surreal, to say the least. Like, it was unreal.
It was as if we were in a parallel universe, and for some reason, the kids were all acting like they liked it. Very bizarre.
So I'm continuing to cry, and people are trying to tell me, like, you know, tighten up, using these terms that I've never heard. Like, you know, we're not going to placate you. At 16, I had no idea what placate meant. They're like, we're not going to placate you. You know, you need to tighten up. You're causing a scene. You're disrupting the community.
The first day at Elan, I had taken in the lunch line 2 milks instead of 1 milk.
Next thing I know,
general fucking meeting.
Get in front of your house.
Oh, fuck.
And all the kids are like, go, stand up there, stand up there.
I find myself up against the wall with about easy 150 people in that place.
So I'm standing up there and I'm still bawling my eyes out, crying.
When you got a GM, they break you down, man.
And Tanya just starts ripping me. Like, you know, you fucking are manipulative. You're a fucking lying brat. You fucking destroyed your family.
You couldn't do nothing but cry.
You destroyed your family. You know, you made everybody around you miserable.
They would talk about what you had done wrong in these terms, like you had murdered somebody.
The house is worked up into such a feeding frenzy and into such a battle mode.
It's like the gladiators in the fucking Coliseum, man.
You could feel the house tremble.
Someone's thrown up there in chains, and they let like all the tigers out.
So then, you know, she's like, does anybody else have feelings about this?
Does anybody have any feelings about?
Who's got feelings for him? Get him.
Get his ass.
Next thing I know, I have like 50 fucking kids rushing at me.
People rush out. Chairs fly. You know, as they get out of their chair, it falls on the floor behind them.
They would bum rush you.
They're this far away from your face,
screaming
at the top of their lungs.
Oh my God. What is happening right now? My Lord. That's insane. Oh my goodness. Like a mob, yeah. Like a cult, right?
Definitely.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You fucking asshole. How can you do this? I can't stand. I'm going to kick your motherfucking ass if I knew you on the street. You're a little mama's boy. You'd be sucking my dick, blah, 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 spitting in your face the whole time, and you have to stand there like this.
When they finish with you, you were completely degraded, humiliated. You wasn't worth a damn.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh gosh, she says this is nothing. It gets way worse. Oh my goodness. Wow. I literally when I watch stuff like this, like my nerve rushes that I get I have nerve rushes running through my body constantly, right? I always feel like a little bit of every once in a while. And when I watch stuff like this, like they heighten. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel like jittery all through. And you know, it's insane when I watch stuff like this. Like, my goodness, it's crazy.
Great to hear all of you. Last week, 2 judges in Pennsylvania pled guilty to taking over $2.5 million in kickbacks for placing over 5,000 teens in private wilderness program in the juvenile detention center. What's shocking here is not just the judge's horrific misconduct, but the fact that the same thing takes place all the time legally in the private placements we've just heard about. Like the private prison business, this industry is about making money by locking up children. It is not about helping them. The treatment they sell is abuse.
When I was in college and in high school, I had a drug problem. I became addicted to cocaine and heroin. And I was afraid to get treatment because what I'd read about addiction treatment was that the whole idea was to humiliate and break and attack you. And I thought, that's exactly the opposite of what I need, because the reason I'm using drugs is because I feel uncomfortable and unsafe around other people. And so when I got into recovery eventually, I wanted to understand, where did this idea come from that we should break addicts to fix them?
Throughout the 1960s, many new treatment programs have been launched in and out of government. Perhaps the most publicized is Synanon, a private organization founded and managed by ex-addicts.
Best thing for people is people, and Synanon provides the environment to bring together people from all walks of life.
Synanon was founded by a man named Charles Diedrich, an ex-alcoholic and frequent speaker at Alcoholics Anonymous.
Stargazer mom. What? My mom set up a fight when I was 14 for a girl to beat me up in front of a bunch of people. She didn't. The next day, the girl apologized to me and gave me the cash my mom gave her. Stargazer, that's what?
That is cruel. So sorry, Stargate.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. If you don't mind sharing, why did she do that? If you don't mind, if you don't want to share it in the chat, then that's fine. But I can't even imagine why a mother would do that. Grace, crazy.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, hon. Hugs for you. Absolutely.
It was his answer to the dilemma drug addicts were facing during the early 60s. There was nowhere they could go for help. During that time, drug addiction was seen as much more severe than alcohol addiction. So Diedrich came up with a solution, using the 12 steps made famous in Alcoholics Anonymous, but with a new twist.
He thought that AA wasn't tough enough. He thought that the 12 steps were all well and good, but they really wouldn't work unless you forced people to do them.
At the core of Synanon were group sessions that relied on highly intense confrontation between group members.
Really? I want!
The idea was to break down an addict's defenses to make them reveal their innermost, deepest troubles. Only then would they be able to help themselves towards sobriety. In Synanon, this ideology was known as the game. Today, it's more commonly known as
Attack therapy is basically the idea that you've developed this horrible, bad personality, and we need to attack you and break you entirely in order to eliminate it and to rebuild you as a good person.
Synanon achieved massive success. However, it wasn't long before stories of abuse and cult-like behavior began to emerge. And after a lengthy legal battle with the IRS, Synanon would eventually shut down. But not without leaving behind a legacy that is still being felt to this day.
After getting massive amounts of publicity, a major motion picture, all the evening news, all the big media was saying how this is this wonderful cure, it spread to New York, where Phoenix House and Daytop were founded.
Daytop Village is typical of the halfway house concept, where the addict is slowly eased back into society, one step at a time.
Synanon evolved into Daytop and other therapeutic communities. And Joe Ritchie went to Daytop.
The man who runs Elan is Joe Ritchie, himself a former delinquent and heroin addict.
Joe came out of Daytop in like 67 or 68. He went through the program, then he worked for it.
And ultimately wanted to found his own therapeutic version of Daytop.
And then he was introduced to Joe Bibson.
Dr. Davidson was a Harvard-educated psychiatrist.
And they went up to Maine. What I understand, Maine had less stringent laws on who could operate and what kind of permits you needed.
In 1970, Joe...
Wow, there you go. That's pretty interesting. Maine had less laws.
Yeah, and he was part of the Pennhurst stuff too.
What's that?
Pennhurst Mental Institute. That Pennhurst Mental Institution, he was part of that too.
Oh, I see. My goodness. Wow. That's pretty interesting fact that they went to Maine. Wow.
Joe Ritchie and Gerald Davidson opened their first facility in the small town of Sebago, Maine. They called it Elan 1. And like Daytop, the program mainly focused on rehabilitating hardened drug addicts.
It started out early, it started out drugs. And most of the people were 18 and over. As a matter of fact, they were well within their 20s.
Most of them were junkies, and Elan truly was their last stop before prison or death.
And then they were convinced that they could take on other people.
Runaways, a lot of runaways.
Running away or being truant from school.
Promiscuity, girls that had gotten pregnant as teenagers.
You're very violent offenders.
Stealing cars, breaking into houses.
Marty Maxwell was there. He was there for robbing banks.
Mugging people.
There were a lot of gang members.
We had manslaughter.
Held people at knife point.
Pedophilia.
Some kids I remember I heard had raped people.
Maybe half of the people there had been sexually abused consistently.
People that had very serious emotional and psychological problems.
There were a lot of kids there that had been put in every kind of placement center or treatment or whatever you want to call it that their state could possibly send them to.
They come from mental institutions or juvenile detention centers.
And Elan was the last place that they would send these kids.
We started to move into autism. We started to move into Asperger's.
After I'd been at Elan for a few years and I was receiving a general meeting, the director suddenly turned to everybody and said, "Did you know that..."
Oh, Stargazer mom, she says, because she hid me from birth and thought I was unruly. Oh, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. That's really hard. Well, you got lots of love here. You got lots of love here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we can just stop for a second and just check on everybody, make sure everybody's okay. And maybe we can get whatever color heart you want to put in the chat, just for anybody here that has suffered through anything. So let's just take a moment to do that, because I think stuff like that is nice and supportive. And yeah, in my early 40s, she applied for credit and unbeknownst to me, but that popped up. But does that mean better than contact when she ran from the debt? They called me. I told them I didn't know her. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Hello, Unseen. How are you? How are you? Oh, there you go. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. I appreciate that. We want to expose this kind of stuff, but we also want to make sure that everybody is okay here and doing well, because it's not easy to watch stuff like this sometimes. I know it can bring up, with me, it's bringing me back memories of like, oh yeah, I did this. Oh yeah, I went through that. Oh yeah, that happened. So
me too.
That before she came to Alon, she had been diagnosed as semi-autistic.
We started to move into.
And also let you guys know, I think it's like, it's probably not striking me or give me a copyright or anything like that, because this video will not be monetized. Okay. I'm not going to have, it's not going to be turned on at all. It shouldn't be on right now. I'm pretty sure I made sure that it was not on. So, yeah, I'm not going to monetize stuff like this. So,
Murder.
It was the night before Halloween 27 years ago when 15-year-old Martha Moxley was found beaten to death outside her home in upscale Greenwich, Connecticut. Among the suspects, her next-door neighbor, Michael Skakel.
Michael Skakel.
Michael Skakel.
Michael Skakel, a Kennedy cousin serving 20 years.
Michael Skakel, isn't that interesting? Because I have his story pulled up, and I was going to actually go over it. So isn't that interesting that he is brought up in this? I did not know that. I promise you guys, I did not know that. Wow, interesting.
Years to life for a murder that shocked the nation. Skakel was convicted in the 1975 murder of his 15-year-old neighbor in Greenwich.
It was at Elon during group therapy that Michael would allegedly confess to killing Martha Moxley.
We got way out of our purview there. Way out.
There were kids there who talked to boys, and that was their only problem. They talked to boys. They came from a religious family.
Just some kids.
Stargazer, right? You'd forgotten about that situation until now. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Things like this, listening to things like this can definitely bring up memories that we don't actually, I mean, they're there, of course, right? Memories are there. But something like this can definitely bring them forward and be like, oh yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're welcome, Thor. I appreciate that. Telling my story. I have no problem now telling my story. It's my story. It's what I went through. It's truth. So, you know, I don't mind sharing. If my story can help somebody else understand that, you know, they're not alone. They will make it through. You know, there's so many of us out here that are survivors. And that is important. And it really, really means something. So, yeah. So, hello, Uni. How are you, sweethearts? Listening and studying. Girl, when are you going to be done with all that studying stuff? Hey, you've been doing that for so long. But good for you. Good for you. Hit those books, girl. Hit those books. Thanks for listening to us. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Who else is here? Brain Dancer. Hello. Welcome in and welcome in. A little bit hard talk today. So yes, please be aware of that for anybody that's coming in. So yeah. And thank you, Nikki. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. Spring 2025 to be exact. That's when you're going to stop studying. Oh my goodness. Oh girl, you gotta let it go. Yes. She's amazing though. She does really good. She's amazing on her tests all the time. And she is definitely a smarty pants. And she's gonna do amazing. So yes. Good for you, girl. Hitting those books. Good for you.
Kids just
And you're
acted
right,
badly,
Eve.
and I think their parents had them.
Go ahead, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
Eve is right. She says many and most of salons back in the days of the 50s, at the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s were unfit for practicing. That is very true. It
Yeah,
was.
absolutely.
Lyndhurst was one of the most biggest ones besides this one.
Yeah, yeah.
The money to send them there, so like Alon took them.
For the most part, these troubled teen programs, the evaluation they do is what I call a wallet biopsy. Do you have enough money to afford it? Then yes, your problem is severe enough. That's it.
By 2011, the annual tuition for 1 year stay at Elan, over $54,000.
Holy moly. That's a chunk of money, I tell ya. Holy moly. Wow, $55,000. I mean, look at that. $54,960, $55,000 a year. Wow, my goodness. Wow.
That's far more expensive than even the most expensive university education. Do you still think it's worth it?
Yes, indeed.
Could you tell me why?
Well, what's the worth of a life?
In January of '74, there was a major fire. Though up in the attic, this boy named Bert set a fire because he hated the place, and he knew that a lot of us hated it too. He knew that the neighbors hated us and wanted us out. So he set a fire, and because the old house consisted of wood, it just burned fast.
After Elan 1 burnt down, operations were moved to a facility in Waterford. This would be Elan 2. Soon the main campus in Poland Springs was opened, and then a maximum security facility was established in Parsonsfield to house state wards and kids that were facing severe criminal charges. Yes, Elan certainly was Joe Ritchie's big success. And like any good businessman, he diversified his investments. He bought the Scarborough Downs.
Cheese, absolutely, yes. And residential schools, absolutely. Yeah, Canada was flooded with them for sure. They are in the States too. But yeah, Canada was definitely flooded. And it's a horrible story. I do have, I believe, I'll have to take a look. I believe I have a video about it on my page, on my channel. It would be like way back when I first started, but I think I did a video about it. So yeah, it's pretty sad, pretty sad.
Downs racetrack.
Apple Downs still cut above the best.
And also ran for governor.
Hi, I'm Joseph Ritchie, Democratic candidate for governor.
Joe's empire was expanding, and so was the new troubled teen industry. Parents, psychologists, and courts from all over the world were sending their troubled kids to Elan for treatment.
The troubled teen industry has become connected. Sometimes a drug rehab will recommend a wilderness program, and sometimes a psychiatrist will recommend these things, largely because they're ignorant of what actually goes on, and also because, unfortunately, professional treatment is not always so professional either.
You know, this lack of quality. You know, this crap. You know, this will not be tolerated. Yeah, you're the first one to do it. Yes, sir.
Day in, day out, life at Elan is constant confrontation,
Yes, sir. It's best just
unrelenting pressure.
I couldn't believe all the shit that was left on those things.
Your feelings, your negative attitudes are broken down, dissected, torn apart.
Wow.
The idea is to change your behavior.
The Elan program was twofold. In one sense, there were...
And what is that going to do, right? How is that going to change anybody's behavior by treating somebody like that? That's just going to make them more angry. They might be afraid and crying and, you know, feeling trapped at the moment. But after, when they're settled down and in their room, they're going to get angry about that, you know? And that just adds to it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Emmy, how are you? Thank you for the like. I appreciate you coming in. Girl, you're going through some stuff, girl. I hope you're taking a day and just relaxing. Absolutely. No matter what you're going through. I mean, geez, girl, you have a plate full. So I appreciate you coming in and saying hello. I really do.
Were therapeutic groups,
primal groups,
encounter groups,
a parent group. The other side of Elan was a functional working microcosm of the work world. Everybody had a job around the house, and everybody had to make the house, the society of sorts, to function.
It was very Lord of the Flies.
Yes, I've actually explained it that way to people I've known several times.
That's the best part. It's the most ingenious fucking thing ever. You have the prisoners run the prison.
It seemed like the patients therapeutized the other patients.
It's great because everybody wants to move up.
We all know we want to get out of this place.
That's the only way that you can convince people to, like, I don't know, shut off like their real human convictions.
You're discussing the way, man. Because everyone here is trying to be jack opposite of what you are now, and you want to hold on to it. That's the disgusting part of it. You just better start being honest with us, man, because everybody's getting pretty hostile.
And I bought into the whole thing. I am going to do whatever they tell me to do.
Cookies. Headstones has cookies, everybody. Headstones has cookies, just letting you know.
Okay, I'm going to hurt anybody they want me to because I want to get out of here.
Have a good day.
Elon does things a little differently. More of an emphasis on integrity, honesty, accountability, wellness kind of a model rather than a psychiatric or illness model. And the kids often don't know they're being therapized, if I can use that word.
Each Elon house functioned through the collective work of 5 offices. The service crew were the janitors, the kitchen crew handled the food, the business office filed paperwork, the communications office brought news from the outside world, and the expediters enforced security. Each office was managed by a specific hierarchy of positions that each resident had to work through in order to graduate the program.
I remember when you came in, you were non-strength and you were a worker.
Everybody went into service crew first, and you were a worker.
Let's go, John.
Elan residents are taught to obey authority. They're made to work at menial jobs, to do what they're told to do.
You just, you clean floors, you do this, you do that, you dust this.
And then you had a ramrod.
And you got some dudes coming around with a white glove, checking your workout, and if it wasn't right, well, you'd be there a half a day again redoing it.
There was
Oh my
worker and
God,
ramrod, and those were the
wow.
two non-strength positions.
And in order to talk to somebody else that wasn't a strength, you had to have a strength being aware of your conversation.
Monitoring your conversation.
You would always have somebody watching you. You couldn't go.
Oh, Rain Enter says my great grandmother was put in indigenous schools along with her siblings. She hated it. This happens in the U.S. And to my sister-in-law's dad too. Yeah, residential schools were horrible. And Nikki, I saw a thing from you. I think that you said that no bodies have actually been found at any schools up in Canada, but there have been. And I'm not sure if you're talking about like indigenous, like residential schools, or something like this here, this Elon school. So I just wanted to clarify that with you. At residential schools, they definitely have found bones and bodies of children. It's very sad. It's very sad. And it touches my...
Sorry.
Go ahead, no.
White Angel says, gonna watch from the bushes to see if I drop off. It's been a day and a half. I've just got back from the emergency vet. My fur baby had seizures followed by a stroke. Oh, so sorry, sweetheart.
Oh my goodness, Wise Angel. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Poor little baby. Oh. Seizures followed by stroke. Oh my goodness. Sadly, he's now resting at Rainbow Bridge with my friend Marsha, who passed in the early hours. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
Prayers to you, sweetheart.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Wise Angel. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you sharing with us. Hugs to you, sweetheart. Absolutely. Hugs. Lots of hugs.
You can go to the bathroom on your own.
Each household is a tightly structured community. New residents do the dirty work under the supervision of more senior residents.
And then you would go to Expediter. Once you hit Expediter, that was the first time that you were like a strength.
Expediters were responsible for security.
The expediter is a policeman. They're the line of defense between the normal people and the lunatics.
The expediters had clipboards, and they would be put on like certain designated spots throughout the houses called zones.
The expediters would watch the doors and make sure nobody ran. And then at the dorm, the night owl made sure that you didn't run in the middle of the night.
Expediter. In the house.
So they use these, they bring these kids in here and they make them go through these levels. And then they use these kids to, like they said, police and abuse the other kids that are there by being told what to do. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, a wheel, I guess, right? Like the kids come in, they're there for a little while, and then when they get a little bit bigger or they go through the steps that they're supposed to do, then they become the ones that are like the authoritative ones to the other ones that are probably come in, and haven't got to that step yet. Right? That's kind of what I'm getting out of it. So it's like, what? It's fucking sick shit, man. I'm telling you. Holy jeez.
And you know what's bad is the school, I mean, they still do it today in the schools. I mean, there's plenty of videos out there showing that, like, the law enforcement and stuff will come in and drag out the kids out of, the classes and stuff and roll up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Insane.
Discipline is maintained by an elite group called the Expediters. They relay orders, keep track of every resident, and report negative behavior. Some call them spies.
They would watch and write down all the things that people have done wrong throughout the day.
They record the names, the actions of everyone in every room continuously.
So they're made to kind of like, quote unquote, rat on, everybody else that's there. Wow, that must have like really created a wonderful environment. Oh my gosh. They're just pitting kids against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and it almost is, Wish Angel, it's almost like our psychology, just about.
Yeah, yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, Scientology is exactly like that. Huh, interesting. Wow.
I'll tell you, this is probably not something I should be proud of. Nobody ever ran away on my time.
At Elan, there is no privacy. Incoming mail is open. Outgoing mail is read and censored. Telephone calls are monitored. Every conversation is subject to eavesdropping and informing.
And then department head from there, and then it was department head.
A department head was basically when you first became a manager.
Department head of the kitchen crew.
And then you would go to Shingo. Shingo was the head of the Expediters.
Michelle, take dining room on. Rachel, stop please.
Pretty sure I was a Shingo for like a fucking year and a half.
And then you had coordinator.
Coordinator of communications. I loved being COD. COD stood for coordinator on duty. Pretty much you ran the house for that day. You were the boss, you were in charge, and you were accountable for everything that went on in your house.
Well, first of all, there were directors. And below them, there were assistant directors. And below them were staff. And the staff members were the people in reentry.
I did reentry staff. Then I never was officially hired.
It was a job for them until they went home or decided to stay.
You had hundreds of years of expert people up here to walk you through this, hold your hand, help you, push you through a window, pull you through a window, and help you change. So consequently, the only thing
That's very true, Cheese. Just give them the authority to punish each other. It's crazy. That's crazy. That had to have like caused animosity between them, and you know what I mean, like crazy. And then comes the ring, short for the boxing ring. It really does sound like Scientology. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wow.
you have to do here is be as hardworking as you can and to be totally as honest as you can.
I don't know a lot about the staff at Elan. I do know that a lot of them were former residents who had graduated the program. And I don't know if there actually were any staff there with like formal psych training or anything. I don't think so. I never saw a psychiatrist while I was there. Never saw a psychologist.
These were all people who had no training, no psychology classes. Their only qualification was that they themselves had been through the program.
They thought that because they had been through experiences that qualified them to handle disturbed kids.
There are no national standards, nor even a consensus of expert opinion on how much formal training should be required of persons.
That makes sense, eh? Like, so these kids didn't get paid, you know, so they have like free staff pretty much. and they're getting paid this like $56,000 or 57, whatever it was, $1,000 a year to have these kids come there and basically just be their slaves, work for them, go through this program, and then become the people that they are stuck with. You know what I mean? Like they're sent to the school, and then there's these mean people there, and then they go through the program, and then they're expected to be also those mean people. You know, like
Yep.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Persons involved in treating troubled kids. But both Dr. Davidson, a trained psychiatrist, and Joe Ritchie, who did not graduate from college, believe that experience is the best teacher when it comes to helping the type of kids who come to Elan.
If you ask for help. Now, when you get shot down, you lose your position.
Yeah, I'm shot down. I got shot down 3 times. I have sex.
If you're going to be shut down, you have to scrub floors, you have to GI the toilets.
No. They ain't scrubbing. They're toothbrushes.
It doesn't matter if the floor is brand new. You've got to sit there and scrub it for 18 hours.
And God forbid
Oh
you
my
were fucking shot
gosh.
down and you had to pee. Because you would have to go through a worker, a ramrod, a department head, a coordinator, a senior coordinator, and then to staff. So it had to go through like 11 different people for you to get permission to pee. You know, and then you had to find somebody to be aware of you while you peed because you couldn't go in the bathroom alone.
Throughout the day, residents
Oh,
function within their
that's
apartments,
sick.
only breaking for meals, meetings, 2
Right?
hours of
That's
school at night, and of
horrible.
course,
My goodness. Just to take a freaking pee. Like, oh, that's way,
What
way,
happened
way,
to
way too
privacy
far.
when you go to the bathroom?
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Oh my goodness.
groups.
I remember there was a box at the front of the house and there was a little slip of paper.
Encounter groups.
You couldn't swear at somebody or tell them you hated them unless you were in a general meeting or group therapy.
If you were to make me angry, you told me to do something I didn't want to do out of, to God, from Gillian, anger. I'd circle that, drop it in a box.
Everybody would sit in a circle in one of the rooms, and then the staff or the director who was running it would say, okay, get your feelings off.
And you would commence to basically cursing each other out one at a time at the top of your fucking lungs. And that was supposed to be how you dealt with your feelings.
In so-called encounter
Wow.
groups, residents are encouraged to express their hostile feelings. The result is usually a stream of curses and obscenities.
You would yell at the person, swear at them, degrade them.
Cunt,
Whore,
needle dick,
fucking slut.
you could say anything you want.
They'd stomp their feet and they'd be going like this.
Frothing at the mouth, like grabbing their pants like this, like rocking back and forth.
Some people's seats would be like popping up off the ground.
Screaming at me, like making eye contact, like calling me a bitch and all this stuff. And sometimes it was like for the dumbest reasons too.
Somebody left their tube of shampoo in the shower because they were coming in after me to use it. I had no idea. It was right there. I used the Judy Secret. I did it. And then the guy that went in afterwards, his shampoo was gone. Well, he dropped a slip on me and took me to an encounter group. And he's sitting there screaming at me how he's going to kill me because I took his tube of Judy Secret shampoo.
You know, I'm sick and tired of your
Nice.
garbage around here.
Okay.
You know, I got to deal with your skank.
If you weren't participating in the encounter groups intensely enough, it was you that would be in trouble.
Most of the time when I was in groups, it was a lot of going through the motions and just yelling because I had to. But there was one group in particular where a girl who I thought I was really close to had gone on her first visit with her mother,
Oh,
and
Thor.
she told her that she
Laura, thank you for hanging out with us. I'm sure that this is definitely hard for you to watch.
Thank you,
Hello,
Laura.
Miss Mo. Hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Yes.
she shouldn't be there because there's girls who were raped by their father and stuff like that there, and she's not like that. And then I was in a group with her, and that was the first time I ever actually yelled and meant it. I was crying so hard I couldn't believe that someone had said something like that, like as if I'm a disease and you are better than me. I can say that at that moment I was glad that something in this world was called an encounter group and I wasn't choking her.
You know, back in the day when I was going through a lot of places being in institutions, you know, there were no encounter groups. We would just simply beat each other's ass on the spot if something like that broke out, you know.
After the shouting, there is an attempt to resolve hostilities.
with the ultimate goal of not only having peace, but having a better outcome in your daily interactions.
They taught us that everyone in the world has feelings. And that's all they are, is feelings. And the difference between a positive person and a negative person was how they reacted off of those feelings.
We're talking about attempting suicide by eating 15 pills of antabuse and then going out and having a glass of scotch. We're talking about waking up in the morning and just because you don't have booze, drinking shaving lotion just to get alcohol out of it. Okay, we're talking about going into convulsions and going into seizures and going into blackouts that you almost never came out of.
I was at the point where I was pretty wasted one night, and I went out and I got a butcher knife and, started stabbing myself in my stomach, which partly because I wanted my father to, come and say, it's okay, Diana, you're going to be all right. You're a very sick little girl. We'll take you to the hospital and, sew you up. And I just wanted him to know that he loved me because I felt like he didn't. I felt like nobody did.
You have to make the decision whether or not it's worth it for you to live. You have got to do it for yourself. I want you to think about the times that you could never sit somebody down and spill your guts out. And I want you to say, I'm lonely and it hurts me. Hold hands and think about that. I mean, let's get in touch with what you are. I'm lonely and it hurts me.
You would think about a feeling that you had that made you sad.
I'm lonely and it hurts me.
That you felt bad about.
Think about what goes on inside. I'm lonely and it hurts me. Let's go.
I'm scared. I hate my father. This person raped me.
I'm lonely and it hurts me.
It was trying to go to your most inner child.
Come on. I'm lonely and it hurts me.
The hurt.
I'm lonely and it hurts me.
The wounds just left unidentified.
I'm lonely and it hurts me. I'm lonely and it hurts me.
Hello, those coming in, Delene and Tazzy. Hello. No, Tazzy, we are watching a documentary about the Elan School for Troubled Teens. And it's just a documentary about what has happened, is happening at this one school that is supposedly for troubled teens. Cheese, you might know, is this still operating? Is this school still operating? This organization, I should say, crime organization. Is it still operating? I'm wondering. I would think not, but gosh, who knows? I know there are other schools, definitely, but yeah, we'll probably find out at the end anyways, but okay, let's keep.
I'm lonely and it hurts me. I'm lonely and it hurts me. Get it all out. It's okay to cry.
And it was supposedly a way of
cleansing
out your problems.
You are watching Primal Scream Therapy, which is intended to release a youngster's deepest fears and emotions.
I had two primal groups, surrounding my father's death.
Do you remember what you were screaming?
Yeah, why'd you leave me? When I got into high school, I found amphetamines. And then I found crystal speed. And I did a lot of amphetamines and a lot of crystal. And I would drink a lot. Got thrown out of high school and went to night school. And then I got kicked out of night school for truancy. And I had said to my father, I need help. I think I'm going crazy. And he said, well, I would like you to consider going to Elan. Your brother went there and it seems to have done a world of good for him. He said, I'll call you every day to make sure you're doing all right. And 2 days later, I made this phony suicide attempt thinking I'd end up in the plush Valley Hospital in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And instead I ended up on the psych ward. And my father died the next morning. He dropped dead, jogging on a business trip in Chicago. They said the heart attack was so massive, he was dead before he hit the pavement. So I felt so guilty about having made that suicide attempt and thinking, well, that probably contributed to my father's heart attack, which killed him. And my mother wanted me to go to Elan, and I'm pretty sure Peter at that point was advocating for me to go there as well. So I went to Elan.
We are in a structured environment where these kids may not know how to have things organized, don't know how to keep anything on time, how to do something. And this teaches them to live in an environment where there's actually discipline.
Along with their job, every resident had a set of daily responsibilities. Dropping slips was one of them, and then there was the incident book. At Elan, there were 3 cardinal rules: no drugs, no sex, and no violence. Breaking any of the 3 cardinal rules meant severe punishment. But then there were rules for everything else, and this is where the incident book came in.
The incident book was something controlled by a shingle expediter, someone who you could kind of compare to a police lieutenant or captain.
You had to be careful what you said around everybody because people were encouraged to tattle on each other all the time for every little thing.
Students would book each other or hold each other accountable for breaking the rules. They would say to the shingle, I want to book an incident. They'd say on who, for what.
You get booked for goofing,
You could be walking around with a shoelace that's untied.
not doing your chore correctly.
Let too many cigarette butts collecting an ashtray.
Because I was the house fatty, I couldn't sit through a meal without being booked by 10 people for eating too much.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, that's horrible. Oh my gosh, that is fucking horrible. Wow. And yeah, everybody, trigger warning because cheese, it says that it gets worse. So, oh my goodness. Wow. Seatbelts on, you guys.
Pencil. But stealing a pencil isn't stealing a pencil. Stealing a pencil is like a pencil was on the ground and you picked it up and you didn't make a fucking announcement on the pencil to let everybody know that you were taking the pencil because you didn't want to take those 2 extra steps to raise your hand and make an announcement and find out whose fucking pencil it is before you pocket it. You have now committed a crime in the kingdom of Elan.
The shingle would come up to you if you were booked and say valid or invalid. Your explanation had some weight, but not a whole hell of a lot. You know, the injustice of it was guilty or innocent. You usually got dealt with.
If it's an injustice, deal with it.
Get out there. Come here.
I was dealt with a lot on a daily basis.
I mean, God, I could knock 20 times a day, 30 times a day.
You say knock, person knocks.
They'd say, who's there? And you'd say, Julie. And they'd say,
come in.
You'd walk in, you close the door behind you, and you'd stand in front of 4 other residents and with your feet shoulder width apart and your hands at your sides.
And they would say, you know why you're standing there?
For stealing a pencil.
Y'all ain't your responsibility. Y'all cleaned the bathroom this morning, man.
You didn't do anything else after before, too. You didn't even give them a seminar. You didn't put everyone to sleep. Lay back in the cut. And it's just everything that goes around here.
In the jargon of Elan, this is a haircut. The theory is that blowing the most trivial incidents out of proportion with angry shouting will lead the supposed offender to take a closer look at himself.
You don't make sure things get done.
So I suggest for the next time you should put my quality on.
You know, and if you stand there and you react at all, like roll your eyes or yeah, right, whatever, it would just get worse and worse and worse.
At Elan, you succeed and survive if you accept the program. If you don't, there are punishments. They're usually called learning experiences.
You had to make a choice
Wow.
in the game until
Oh my God.
you can choose to go through the hard way, or you can choose the motherfucker way.
From the hottest fire comes the strongest steel.
But I caught on real quick. I got smart the first day I was there, and a couple of guys came and asked me to come in a room, and they just said, hey, we can do this one way, we can do it another way. And I just went, really? And they go, really? And I said, okay, cool. You know, I just didn't feel like fighting because I intuitively knew I wasn't going to win.
I wasn't buying into their system right away.
My first year in Elan was scrubbing floors and facing corners.
I had almost a general meeting a day for probably 6 months.
So I was on the service crew for 30 days, and then I tried to run away, and I got caught.
I wanted to get kicked out. My first year, that's all I wanted to do. That was my dream. My dream was to get kicked out of Elan.
I had my clothes on all night long in bed, and I tried to get the guts to get up and run out the door. And finally, when I did, I ran right into the nightmare.
But had I known how hard
Shit.
people had tried for the past like 20 something years prior to me getting there to get kicked out, and the things that they had tried and they had never gotten kicked out, I would probably have conformed sooner.
Many Elan residents have tried to escape, but they've all failed.
I slipped from Elon probably about 6 or 7 times. Made it out of there, out of the state of Maine every time, as far as California.
Anybody who tried to run away was usually caught.
When they've managed to get off the grounds, trackers are sent out after them.
They send student trackers after you.
Next thing I know, I got jumped somewhere, and next thing I know, I'm back.
You were brought back, and you were basically therapeutically killed.
Wow.
Wow. I
That
can't
is
believe the
crazy.
state let that happen.
That is crazy. And yes, absolutely Scientology. Like, wow. Unbelievable. Cheese, do you know, is this was this something that was like a religious kind of school? Did they talk about, did they put, the teachings of the Bibles into it or whatever? Like, was it a Christian thing, or was it just some dude that, started this school? I'm wondering about that. If a religion has anything, is anything like tied to this? We haven't really heard too much about religion
I
yet.
haven't heard
So
anything so far about
yeah,
religion.
right. Like it's just nope, not religious at all. Oh my goodness, wow. Not that it makes it different or makes it better, or not, absolutely not. But usually some things, when you hear some things, stories like this, usually somewhere there's like a little bit of religious something tied to it. But wow, that's crazy. This reminds you of something that you saw on Ikmel's channel. She escaped. Most places that were, this is Laugh at Life, most places that were around here in the 90s were for under 15 years old to 12-year-olds. Over 15 around here, you got put in a juvenile hall. Wow, crazy. I haven't heard anything about it being state funded, but I'm sure they got something from the state to help run. I'm sure about that. But as far as that, like,
guaranteed.
The fees and stuff like that, the parents, I don't know if the parents had to pay that money or if it was all paid for by the state, but kind of crazy. Okay, let's keep going so we can get through this.
And you often had security precautions put on you that were unprecedented for any time in your stay.
When they caught this 15-year-old boy, he was
She
put in a
says
rapid
privately
suit
funded.
and leg shackles.
After I ran away, I already had no fucking shoelaces or anything anyway. So they got me down to a sandal LE. So I can only wear sandals, pocket LE, pockets out, 15-foot spread from windows and doors, a strength and a high strength. They got to be with me at all times. And I'm in a pod, which is each tile is like a foot by 1 by 1. All right. So I got 9. That was me. That was me for 9 fucking months. That's my pen. That's where I live. It's taped.
Oh my
If I went out of it,
Chief! What does it do? Okay, it humiliates him and it restricts his movement. He's run away from here 4 times. Okay? He's run away from every place he's been before.
Oh my
at
gosh,
least 17
really? Mob ties come into play.
This boy's been in and out of juvenile detention centers for years and faced charges of breaking and entering and assault. For him, it was either Elan or jail.
So I was shot down for the next 30 days, and I was a worker for the next 30 days, and then they transferred me to Waterford. I met the best friend I've ever had in my life, a guy named Scott Kitchen, and he had a sign. And I remember exactly what his sign said. I walked in and I looked over, and the whole room had to be quiet because he just walked in and he said, "I'm Scott, the hospital tot. I like to make people laugh a lot. I find it hard to see that I have guilt and it's killing me."
Residents are made to wear signs for days, sometimes weeks, bluntly spelling out their problems and failures.
You would have to stand up every
Oh my
morning at morning meeting
gosh.
and read your sign.
Hickory dickory dock, responsible I am not. I fell asleep like a little sheep. Ask me why I'm a dummy.
And the house would have to
Oh
confront you
my
on your sign.
goodness.
Why are you a dummy? Because I fell asleep on night duty.
It was a big piece of white poster board, and Elan was so nice that they would let you make your own sign. You could even put silly flowers and dogs and cats on it.
I'm a lunatic. I totally lose control when things don't go my way. That's why I've been in and out of hospitals.
Please confront me as to why I have so little self-control that I've become a blob.
Please ask me why I
Oh
continue
my
to goof.
I'm a
God.
disgusting little coward.
If I continue to take everything as a joke, I'm gonna end up dead.
All I have in the future to look forward to is getting raped in prison.
I got a sign
Oh
as a result of the
God.
fact that I broke cardinal rules. I was kind of flirting with one of the guys from
Tazzy, Cheese knows a lot about this. And he let us know that it was privately funded. Privately funded. My gosh.
on 3 in classes. The lights had gone out during school, and we held hands for probably about 5 seconds. And they kept telling me that I had guilt, and I had no clue what they were talking about.
Guilt was basically any behavior you engaged in contrary to Elan policy that was not found out that you carried with you.
Elan was very big on making me feel guilty.
Every couple of weeks, they would say, "Have you copped to your guilt? And when was the last time you copped to your guilt?" And you'd write it out on a piece of paper what you did.
I couldn't figure out if somebody had seen me in the dark touch hands with this other guy for 5 seconds. So I actually copped to that as my guilt.
2 new residents talking to each
Oh
other
my
without a strength, being
gosh.
aware of the conversation, might be a relatively minor form of guilt. Kissing someone on the back stairs, you're getting a general meeting.
So
Yeah, and they said it cost $50K, $54,000 a year. I think it was like 56,000 something.
Yeah, it was
So like
something like that.
$57,000. Craziness. Yes. Crazy. Okay.
So I got shut down. I got a general
Hey,
meeting,
Uncle
and I got
Sloppy,
a
how
sign
are
bypassing
you?
me why I'm a whore because I held hands with somebody for
Hey,
about
Uncle.
Just got back from the mall. Did you get a good haul? Did you get some good Black Friday deals? I hope so.
5 seconds.
You will never catch me in the store
I
on Black
remember this
Friday.
poor girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we don't really
Never
have, I
again.
mean, I live in such a small place that the stores up here don't really, I mean, they get busy, but they're not like, crazy fucking that you would get like down south in bigger cities. So it's not too bad here. It's not too bad here. We don't really have like, major big, Black Friday sales. Some things are on sale. Walmart does a thing and whatever, but that's about it. So yeah. Want to get anything good then,
Yeah, I bought gifts for my cats.
Yeah, I
Aww.
just saw that. I bought gifts for my cats. That's sweet. Jazzy hates shopping. Oh well, there you go, girl. Do it online. I don't mind online shopping because I mean, there's so much.
Yeah, you won't get a cart
It's
running
forever
your
to find
back and
something.
everything else.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, they're state-funded plays like this across the U.S. The foster system is a whole ass mess. Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I agree.
Very much.
Named
Yeah, very absolutely.
Jennifer. She liked the kid, and they put a horror costume on her.
Oh, costumes.
Every morning she had to get up in front of the whole house, dance around and strut like she was a whore, and sing this song.
How you tell somebody that had been sexually abused
Ah.
since they were 4 years old that they're a whore.
They call me Flamin' Jenny because I'm hot for many. I'm the hottest baby in the house. And when
Oh
it
my
comes to
God.
loving, I'm the human oven. I'm the hottest baby in the house.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
Yeah, very.
I would have died.
Yeah, it's very triggering, Tazzy. Very
Yeah,
triggering.
absolutely. And like everybody, please be aware. Like she says, like it gets worse. So yeah, that is so
And
humiliating.
again, we don't expect anybody to stay through this. If you can't, and it gets too
Yeah.
bad, just sleep for a little bit and then
Yeah.
come back, see if we're with excitement.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. This it horrifies me. I mean, I have 4 daughters, and it would horrify me to know if any of my daughters were put through something like that. That's horrible, horrible. This is worse than high school bullying. Absolutely, absolutely. Crazy.
I think I was oversexed because I had been abused. So I was sexually provocative.
And that is very true. You, most young girls that are go through SA, they usually either go one way or the other. You either become, very provocative out there, or you become a little more secluded and sort of. I was more so like the little more secluded person. Took me a while to kind of want to go out and hang out with people and all that kind of stuff. So I've read that before, that either you go one way or the other usually when you have been sexually abused like that. So that's horrible. It's crazy how it affects you so much that you would make. I don't know. It's just crazy how much it affects people. It really is. So.
I was sexually abused when I was younger by someone close to my family, and it had gone on for a very long time, period of 8 years, and just kind of the backup of dealing with that, problems in school. I had entrusted to a friend that I was being sexually abused, and that friend got mad at me and decided to spread it around the school. So I was known in junior high as like the girl who fucked this person. I think that I just wanted out. I just wanted everything to be quiet.
You have to answer them right now. You better start being honest around here. There's nobody around here.
They used to put people in some humiliating costumes. Me and this girl were dressed up as the Bobbsey twins. Our hair was put up in pigtails. We were very immature and we used to act up, and they wanted to humiliate us. The costume would always suit the person who was put into it.
You know, my subject was terrible with the math.
Okay, I just wanted to stop just for a moment here. Tazzy, are you all right? Are you okay, hon? Just want to check on you and make sure that you're okay. Read some of the comments here.
Yeah.
The humiliation is almost unbelievable, she says. Absolutely. It's unbelievable. And that's right. Promiscuous or withdrawn. Absolutely.
Okay, Tazzy, we're just checking in and making sure.
Tazzy, okay, yes, sweetie. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure, sweetie. Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you being here and sitting through this.
If you didn't do well in it, they make you wear this big dunce cap.
If their behavior is deemed infantile, they're made to wear diapers over their clothes and to carry rattles.
I don't know how I was being a baby, but I guess I was. You know, I had the bonnet and the big rattle.
Denise Hubbard, she has syphilis. And they made her wear tampons in her hair. I think that was downright disgusting.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to stop there, but like, oh my fucking God.
No.
Oh my God. I definitely need to do some more digging here. Absolutely. Holy shit.
There's a lot more. I think there's a lot more to this than what we're seeing.
Yes, I think so. I think so. I'm going to try to speed up a little bit. Go ahead, Speed.
I'm hoping this facility is shut down completely.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but yeah. Thor, I'm speechless. Me too. I'm definitely gonna dig more into this. This is definitely not the only place. Absolutely not. So I'm gonna dig into more of this, and maybe we can make it a series.
Yep.
It's hard. I know. I understand. Like, it's horrible to talk about, but it's important that we put this out there. You know,
Yeah,
it's
we
not
need to make it
always
awareness.
about. Yes, and it's not always about like. I'd like to see like somebody. I mean, here, let me bring it up here. Whatever. I'd like to see somebody like Betty, you know, do something like this. But you know that she won't, right? Because, you know, she wouldn't be able to grift it so easily as she would, you know, a missing or you know, murmured child. There's no way that she would highlight, you know, things like this. So I've always wanted to do, you know, stories like this, and it's crazy. And I have before on my channel. I have talked a few times about stories like this. So yeah, we will definitely dig more into this for sure.
Because she has syphilis. That was their way of treating her.
Take my buddy Kevin Hicks, for instance.
Roland.
He pulled a couple stunts, and they put a costume on him.
Oh, I was out of control. And so I was shot down. I was in Parsons Field. We had a morning meeting. And I said, I think that we should get a house dog. Elan 3 has a beautiful golden retriever. And wouldn't it be nice if we could get a dog, you know, for the house? Next thing I knew, I was getting a general meeting for suggesting that we should have a house dog. And it was determined that I should be the house dog. And I was not allowed to speak. I was only allowed to bark once for yes, bark twice for no. I had to walk around on fours. For my dinner, I was given a dog dish. Plus, I had to do tricks. They would teach me tricks, and I'd have to do these tricks on command.
Jennifer was mummified.
Oh
They wrapped
my God.
this, like white bandage tape all around her head, leaving an opening for her nose so that she could breathe. And then a leash was put around her neck so that she couldn't run off on her PO, personal overseer. I drew a picture of that among a lot of other pictures.
Oh my God. Geez, I did see that you sent me that other documentary. I did not open it and look at it yet though. me do another doc about Paris Hilton and her experience with this type of shit. She had an organization to fight this abuse. I have new respect for Miss Hilton. Wow, that's amazing. I will definitely have a look at it for sure. And thank you for sending me this stuff.
It was tough being there as a kid. My best memories, it seems, were when I was acting up with somebody else. Just being silly, goofing on the program, or making silly wisecracks, running around the room. To my mind, it was merely playing. But to the directors, it was anarchy, and we had to be dealt with swiftly and forcefully.
Joe, you make no bones about it. There is corporal punishment here at Elan. Tell us about it. What are the stages it comes in? Who's it administered by?
Well, it's administered by the kids. First of all, corporal. It's a harsh term.
Do you remember Kim Friedel? Kim was from a wealthy family in Long Island. After she had only been there a month, she had lice. And I think that episode really hit her hard. You know, all the females, we had to wash all our clothes, put the pillows in plastic bags, and everybody had to get quelled again. And I'm sure it was mortifying for her. And after that, she just started kind of unraveling. So then they gave her GM because she was starting to act a little nuts, you know, like mental patient issues. And during that GM, she just let go and peed on the floor. So they took her and threw her in a cold shower with all her clothes on, and then brought her back dripping wet to stand in front of the house again. But she wasn't cooperating because she was in the middle of a nervous breakdown. So they spanked her.
That's one resident spanking another resident, and it's done with a ping pong paddle.
For the first 2 years that I was there,
A ping pong paddle. Oh my God. Jesus, this is insane, man. Oh, Lord.
they would spank with a clipboard.
And it gets worse.
Yeah.
Usually a person won't get spanked more than once or twice.
Usually when they use a paddle, they may have 4 or 5 people spank a person like 3 to 5 times each.
They'd have students lined up, 5 or 6 of them, and they would each have to take a turn at paddling the wrongdoer.
So she was being spanked repeatedly in wet pants.
Well, when they spanked me, I mean, they didn't have to spank me, so I turned black and blue. Simple as that. I mean, that was just one time after another. I was so sore I couldn't sit down.
Kim had scabs that had to be 3/4 of an inch thick on her rear from being paddled.
Oh, yes, it was painful. I had to learn fast to hold back my tears because I thought, I'm not going to give them that. I won't look weak in front of them. Better to look angry. You know, I would cop an attitude instead. Even if that got me in more trouble, it was better than giving them my tears.
They thought it was, I needed
No,
it because
Jesus,
I supposedly was
so
a terrible
sad.
baby.
If you're gonna act like a baby, you should be treated like a baby.
So after hours and hours of this GM, which was horrific GM, she was like just gone, just catatonic.
There's no federal regulation on these places, and the state regulations are very weak. Nail salons are more regulated than guys who come and kidnap your kid at 2 in the morning.
The treatment we saw called for isolation.
And that they're more regulated than facilities that lock up kids and are allowed to physically punish them.
They couldn't talk to each other.
We have had a completely dysfunctional Congress for a long time now, and there has been regulation that has passed the House twice, but has never really gone anywhere. So, you know, the chances of getting regulation through this Congress are pretty low.
I tried to kill myself there. My biggest punishment was they put me in a corner. See, I love to talk. I really don't have a problem talking. So I had to sit in the corner and, you know, everybody's doing whatever they got to do all around me. This is in Waterford. I never forget it because I got the scar right here on my finger. I had a piece of chicken and I made an X on my finger. I was trying to kill myself.
I was in the corner only a few
Gosh.
times. Each stay was between 3 to 5 days, which I understand is not an extremely long time.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Like when you're a child and mom and dad says, go sit and stand in the corner, you go stand in the corner, face against the wall, and you stand and you stand and you stand until you cannot stand. And then
Oh my God, my brother used to make me do that. I said that the other day. He used to make me stand in the corner for no reason. He was just being an asshole. He was just being a big asshole brother. And yeah, he used to make me stand in the
Right.
corner. It was like, it was,
Try kneeling with rice on the floor, and you had to kneel on top of the rice.
oh my goodness. Oh my
My
goodness.
grandmother used to do that.
Wow. My goodness.
and then you sit.
But it was worse than that, for sure. It's not just like facing. It's not like 5 minute fucking like turn around. Like you were fucking in there forever. You talk about Donovan earlier, dude. They shut him away for like I think like 4 months straight one time.
I've seen people that had been in the corner for 6 months,
Oh my God. I literally would stare at a spot on the wall until it would just like fuzz out.
You could count the holes in the wall, the nooks and crannies, the dots on the curtain.
You were eating, standing there. You were sleeping in the corner. They would bring a mattress. You would sleep right there.
As soon as the sun came out, go back and face the corner.
You're going to do that for week after week after week until you've been good for days, and then they decide they want to let you out.
Yo, I'd rather take an ass whooping than sit there. That's just my opinion because, I mean, wow, that's torture.
And then the poor person that had to sit there and watch you was another kid, which was like your support person. And that was the only person you were allowed to talk to.
I had this imaginary friend when I was in the corner too. Her name was Emily. She was a colonial girl, a few years younger than me. But even her presence didn't help when people were allowed to come up and swear at me. They were given open swearing privileges directed at Mary O'Brien. Anybody who wanted could come up to me while I was in the corner and cuss me out, tell me how ugly, stupid, and fat I was, and how I was a loser, and how I made them sick. It was so humiliating that I used to make her go away while they were doing that because I didn't want her to hear me being called all those names.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys. Wow. Thor, I agree. He says those kids need a secure environment, love, help building confidence, stable, caring people with a genuine empathy, working with them. This is heartbreaking. It sure is. Absolutely.
Duck in a Raincoat is full of scandal. News Center's Sharon Randall tells us about it.
The book begins in Fort Chester, New York, where Richie grew up, and takes the reader down the sometimes bumpy road of Richie's life. The opening of Elan, his lucrative drug treatment center, the mysterious fire that destroyed the clubhouse at Scarborough Downs, a failed run for the 1986 Democratic nomination for governor, and of course, the famous lawsuit against Key Bank.
You know, when you first meet Joe, and you're a street kid like me, and let's make no mistake, I grew up on the street. I hung out in Providence, I hung out in Cranston, and it was, anyway, there were a lot of Italians, yada, yada, yada. So Joe, there's no mistaking who he is, what he is.
He was cool. He was confident.
He always had a lot of money.
He had a Rolls Royce.
He was eccentric.
He had a mean coat.
He was extremely grandiose.
If he walked in the room, you'd want to stand up to greet him.
He was the man.
He ruled everything.
And so he was Italian.
Key Bank had cut off Richie's line of credit because of rumors he had ties to organized crime. Richie sued, and a federal jury awarded him $15 million.
Wow. $50 million. Oh my gosh. Something wrong there. Holy shit.
Well, in my simplicity, I looked up to that.
Joe was my idol. I wanted to be like Joe.
And he bought into me, and I bought into him. You know, like he did with a lot of other people. Kind of took me under his wing, buys you a lot of stuff. He bought me all my clothes. He bought me my first car. For Christ's sake, he owned the house I lived in. I was bought and paid for pretty much.
He got his major judgment based on the fact that his civil rights were violated. Yet throughout the book, there are accounts of many times that other people's civil rights were violated by his treatment center for troubled adolescents. And that's part of the story that Curly contends the media missed.
You'd want to please him, basically for your own survival.
He was mean.
He was paranoid.
And he'd make you feel like dirt.
He was very concerned about his own image and his importance. If you threatened his power, he could be quite unfair with the retaliation.
If he wants to act like a criminal, he'll be treated like a criminal. It's that basic.
I had no really dealings of him. Then a few times he ran a general meeting. And when he ran a general meeting, they stomped the shit out of you. You got the worst of the worst.
Duck in a Raincoat is packed with personal accounts of brutality and intimidation at Elan, Richie's drug treatment center for young people in Poland Springs. But a 1971 state investigation found no evidence to support such claims.
If Joe was so bad and so dirty, why hasn't anybody been able to make anything stick to him?
Because he's very good at what he does. What he does, according to Curly, is cover his tracks and dupe the media. He has money, which certainly makes people credible in the United States of America. But how he made that money, it's some of the things that's questioned in this book.
It sounds like the founder of Elan was a sociopath, and there's evidence that sociopaths rise in these places very easily. There was a study done of using the Synanon kind of method on sociopaths, and they found that it made them worse because basically it told them that hurting people, which they enjoy doing, is good. So it basically trained people to be better sociopaths, which is kind of scary when you think about the kids that are sent to these places. And Elan was definitely among the worst that I have heard of. I think the difference is the level of violence. Elan explicitly used the ring.
We have the ring, okay, which everybody misinterprets. It's not a boxing ring. It's a ring of human people.
Elan's boxing ring was used as a last resort therapeutic tool. I once heard a staff member refer to it as an exercise in futility, pretty much to prove that violence will get you nowhere.
The ring was used for bullies.
If you went in the ring, it's because you physically threatened somebody.
Any kind of violent action resulted in the ring.
It occurs within a general meeting. They have, let's say, 10 students, 15 students form a circle.
You would literally form a human circle around someone.
And the bully is introduced as what he is. In this corner is the bully who's trying to turn this facility into a detention center.
I got put in the boxing ring a number of times.
I was in a ring for the good, fighting the perpetrator.
And in this corner is the house champion who's going to show him why it can't be done.
They would put you in the boxing ring with somebody who was sure to kick your ass.
You're supposed to be fighting for the house, truth, justice, the Elon way. You put a pair of gloves on, and the other person put a pair of gloves on.
The director goes, ding.
They made the best man win.
And you never won.
We never allowed the bully to win.
You might win 1 or 2 rounds.
No, I didn't even try.
I just went gently live like this.
You might beat this person, you might beat that person, but they keep coming, they keep coming. They keep sending a fresh person.
And when that person got tired, they would send somebody else in.
You were boxing 6, 7 fresh people.
So, like, if you actually fought, you'd really get beat up.
Yeah, well, it's sort of, you could say, a kill situation.
Violence is ultimately futile, you know, in the real world. Even if you do.
Hello, Skip to my Lou. How are you, girl? Good to see you. Yeah, this is pretty crazy insane. That's I mean, how can they think that that's, you know, going to teach anybody something? You know, it just teaches them to be more angry, in my opinion. And you tell them, you know, go fight this, go beat this person. What? That just makes you more angry as far as I'm concerned, right? You become, like, you become the bully. You are the bully. Or you're the bullied, you know? Like that one girl just said, she just, like, put her head down and just took it, you know? Crazy. That's horrible. That's like jumping in. You know, if anybody knows why, you know, when you get jumped in, it's like, you know, gang kind of stuff, you know, you get jumped in, everybody beats you up, and if you can take it, then you're good to go. So, oh, crazy stuff.
Win a fight. There's always someone bigger than you. There was always a cop there to arrest you for assault. You know, no good is really going to come of being violent.
I'd always heard before I had seen one that the only people who get rings are those who actually are violent and lash out at others. But I saw people get rings who did nothing other than sit in the corner and refuse to respond. And they used the ring almost as if to try to shock them into responding, to wake them up.
I was an expediter, and I was stationed at the kitchen door, POing the shotdowns who were washing dishes and scrubbing the floor. And one resident put on his coat to take the garbage out. And I forgot he went out there and shut the door behind him. And he ran away. So I was shot down for that. And for me, I felt terribly guilty, because if I had been doing my job, he wouldn't have run away and come back and be brutalized.
Who is this?
This is Michael Skakel.
Did you want anyone in the line to know you were related to the Kennedys?
Absolutely not.
They gave him a general meeting. He was being confronted as to whether he murdered some girl, and he kept saying, no, no, no. He was put in the ring. They broke his nose, and he kept saying, no, 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 and then would get beat again until he submitted and said he didn't know if he had done it or not.
Oh, my gosh.
Just to say this first, so much stuff that you could never imagine, that you couldn't line it up in your brain, happened so fast.
Everybody was genuinely scared of what the next 10 minutes would bring.
You know, from the electric sauce to the rings to the spanking to the GMs where they're slamming you up against the wall, and then the haircuts.
You never knew who it was going to happen to. It could be you.
And it was going to happen to you. There was no way to prevent it. You could be as good as possible, and then they would deal with you for being a goody two-shoes.
Just constant violence is the way I look back at it.
General fucking meeting!
You can't get no lower than watching a person snot coming out of their nose.
Stand right there.
People were yelled at right out in the open, right where they stood.
Oh, my
Rolling up.
God.
70% of my time I was being yelled at.
They're pissing shit out of stuff.
You were basically therapeutic.
They're bleeding from the mouth.
It was a fucking nightmare.
Then you take the person, they throw that stinking, that nasty ass electric sauce on them.
They put cigarette butts in it, leftover
God
food.
almighty, I watched people go into the toilet. When
Oh,
They
God.
roll them around in there,
They would dump my food on me,
pick the person up,
thrown at me.
slam them up against the wall.
Throw somebody against one wall,
And they would just kick your ass.
run over and slam them against this wall, blood everywhere. All the while screaming at them.
And the only sound that you
And then
could
they slam
hear
them
was
against
the
this
person
wall.
screaming for his life.
I need some fucking Dorothy.
It's insanity.
Everybody runs up there.
Scream and swear at you.
I'm 16 years old. I have to deal with fucking mental patients.
Taking light bulbs and cutting themselves
Kids
hundreds of
drinking fucking
times.
bleach to get fucked up.
Oh,
they
my
get out of here.
God.
Please can escape here.
They would just break you down.
Throw you back in that same shit all over
You
again.
would sit in the corner. You would stand in
Your
the corner.
clothes ripping off
And
you.
they'll have general meetings where you get spit on every day.
Slam you against the wall.
That's all you would do.
And robbing him of his freedom.
And you repeat it a couple times.
And yes, I'm guilty of misery.
You get.
I'm going to hurt anybody who's on my team.
You quit. You broke. You stop.
You still think it's worth it?
There was some real life like bullshit and turmoil. There's no way that can get like sugarcoated at all. Like that is, it wasn't every day. It was like 3/4 of the fucking existence there was outrageousness and like 15-year-olds should not be hog tying and like zip tying 17-year-old kids. Anybody could know that. Like Dominic should not have had to fucking break fucking 2 people's arms to get attention. You know what I mean? Like throwing chairs into walls and shit. Like, and if you are a normal person with enough self-control, I remember one thing I always did. I was like, I will not act out. I will not do that because as bad as it sucks and as bad as it is, whatever. I was like, these kids are just doing their fucking job because they want to get out of here.
While I was making this film, a lot of people asked me, did Alon help me? And I don't really have an answer to that question. Maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm sitting here in front of this camera. What I do know, though, is that amongst all the day-to-day chaos and the day-to-day grind, there were some truly caring people there that really just wanted to see the best for us.
I thought you were a shy kid, and I thought that you weren't willing, you expect the world to change around you. And you really didn't like anything. You weren't into anything. You just and you really didn't like yourself. And I think that you were so lonely that you probably would have committed suicide if you didn't smell.
I was lonely. I was depressed. I was drinking a bottle of cough syrup probably every day to get high. I didn't really want to be in reality. Because the reality was that my parents were getting divorced. College was on its way. Life was changing a lot, and I didn't really want to deal with all that. I didn't grow up in a situation where my parents put responsibility on me. And in a way, Alon taught me a lot of the things I didn't let my parents teach me. Self-discipline, honesty, integrity, getting in touch with your feelings. I always just blocked them out.
But I thought that you were nice. And I thought that we'll figure something out. We'll find something that he enjoys, and then we'll build on that. What'd you think of me?
I thought she was kidding when she said her name was Missy E. I thought she was like making a joke about Missy Elliott, but she was really funny. I thought I would like her. I did.
What did George Bush get on his SATs? Rule. It was honest and funny, and I was straightforward. I call it like I see it. Where you going, Ben?
This bathroom's always a mess. Let's take hands. All right.
Did you hear me ask you a question, Ben?
Huh?
Did you hear me ask you a question?
Yeah, so I looked for the kitchen crew didn't save any.
What'd you ask me? Do you have to use the bathroom? Is that what you said?
No.
I'm fine to see. Why don't you go out if you have? Okay. I'm not really afraid. That's why I'm doing this interview. I really am not afraid. I do care. That's why I stayed there for 20 years. I was invested, and I would bring it. And I would bring individual attention. I paid attention. My technique is, if you talk to me, then I listened. If you bothered to write something, I read it. And then if I found something that we had in common, I would sit there and bring it up, so we could relate. And then maybe develop some trust. So at some point, whether it would be, you tell me one of your biggest secrets that you never want to tell anybody.
Were you ever able to confront your dad about what he did?
At the end, when they realized that my mom had caught on that I had already graduated high school and that I wasn't supposed to be there anymore, she was going to pull me out. And that's when I was like, listen, this is going to be my last chance to speak to him with people here to help me out if, this doesn't go well. And so they gave me the phone call, and Missy came with me, and I called him. He's from Chile, and I called him there. I just asked him why. I just asked him why he lied about me, because he told my mother that I was a drug addict and I was a liar and that I was just making things up. And he was just like, why would you say that about me? Like, you know how much I love you. Why would I R-A-P-E-D you? He wouldn't say it out loud. He would just spell it out. It was very strange. And he just pretended to be innocent, like he always did. And it was just, at that point, I just realized, I was like, listen, have a good life. And I just hung up, and I've never spoken to him or seen him since.
How does that feel?
Great. That I was able to walk out of there not bawling my eyes out like he had hurt me. It was over, and I felt better about it.
So Jillian Silva was pulled out of Elon by her mother on January 25th, 2008. So wow, that's not that long ago. Right, Nikki? Yeah, I was thinking that too, that like she didn't report the abuse. Absolutely not. But I'm sure she was probably like, stuck between a rock and a hard place, so to say. And it's nice to know that she kind of gave them like, a small little soft place, I guess, to be for a little while. So, yeah.
Better about it.
I didn't enjoy some of the stuff there that went on. As far as rings and general meetings, they were never fun. You know what I'm saying? But I think putting things in labels like wrong, right, good, and bad is unfair. Yeah, the ring was wrong, but I was always up to run a group. Some of the people, all those people have their shout outs for how horrible, they got to release a lot of pain too, you know what I mean, in those rooms with a trusted group, dealing with really private issues. That's something many kids never got to do, and many people will never get to do. And so I think that some of it was so brilliant, it was ridiculous.
My first director didn't believe in the ring, spankings, costumes. His thing was, if it got to a point, he brought you up to his office, he sat you down. You could talk for an hour, or you could go into his office at 7 o'clock at night and not get out of there until 7 o'clock in the morning.
So we talked to you?
Oh, Mr. Friedman talked to you, but you wanted to listen.
About 2 weeks before I left, I was in a special group with my sister, who was in Alon 7. And my sister told me that she thought I'd be successful in the outside world. And I said, well, successful how? Go through a hard time, maybe smoke some pot and come out of it. And I got asked by Kate Hawkins, the social worker there, is that an option? And I didn't say anything. So clearly it was an option for me to go out there and smoke a little pot and come out of it. And she said to me, Pete, you better not pick up a joint out there. Some people can handle it, you can't. I'd like to also remind you that alcoholism is a progressive disease. You pick up where you left off. I hadn't heard that since AA meetings about 3 years earlier. So when I heard that, it just brought me back, and I was like, okay, that option's off the table. And I've been sober since the day I left. God willing, I'll have 21 years in October.
Alon diploma. In recognition of the growth that she has achieved.
There's no doubt that Alon had a role in changing a lot of people's lives for the better. It would be unfair for me to say it didn't. But in the end, when you look at the bigger picture, the damage that Alon caused far outweighs the good.
Elan claims its graduates are now leading happy, productive lives, that they're staying in school, going to college and working. The drug use is way down, and criminal involvement cut by more than half.
It claims that 2/3 of all its former residents are now leading productive lives. That figure has not been scientifically verified.
But parents of some former residents dispute these claims. When Rhode Island parents complained, the state investigated and found that of 117 former Elan residents from that state, 70 had been arrested, and that one is serving a life sentence for murder in South Carolina.
Oh, goodness.
There's absolutely no evidence that this does anything other than produce post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and in some cases, a brief period of compliance. A lot of people will tell you, it worked for me. I can't say that 12-step program saved my life because that's what happened to help when I ended up getting into recovery. I mean, I can say that, but the reality is that I don't know that. That's an anecdote. And even if it's my anecdote and I believe it very strongly, it's still an anecdote. And if we're going to say that addiction and mental illnesses are diseases, then we have to have medical standards of evidence. And by the medical standards of evidence, there is no data that suggests that this helps people. And there are lots of things suggesting that it does help.
I got out right when my class was graduating. So it was like being a rock star for like a month, because like you're out, you hit every grad party, and you got out of like people like, we thought you were dead, we thought you were in jail, we thought you were whatever. It's just like this incredible high for like a month and a half, and then it's just like boom, because then you got to start to figure out how to do things like an adult, or what like the real world is and everything like that. And then you get up there and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't have a clue what the fuck I'm doing. Like I don't know what I was doing with anything. I started going to school. I didn't know a goddamn thing. I don't know a goddamn thing. I don't know.
Right, and that's very true, right? Because I mean, they didn't really actually teach them anything, but you know, just scream and yell and stand in the corner and be berated, and oh, it's crazy. And Thor, I'm glad that stuff like this would not happen over there. So since I'm from Europe, I only lived in the U.S. for 14 months. This is and could never happen where I am from in Scandinavia. I'm glad that you guys have stuff that protects kids from stuff like that. So yeah.
I don't know how to fucking sit in a real class, real homework, real work, real everything. I'm like, I don't have a fucking clue, dude. I didn't care. Started seeing one of my best friends when I came home from like childhood. He was all fucked up when I got back. He was like that with oxys. And I remember I never understood it because I never did anything other than really drink or smoke. So I don't understand what shit was. And he was just like, go on and try it. Did that. And then I've been on like an off and on, like, been out like 5 years. I've been on an off and on 5-year drug bender. I'm at rock right now. I'm at rock. You got me at a great time.
I went basically from Alon to college, which was totally fucked up for me because I had no social skills. The education was minimal. And basically when I went to school, all I wanted to do was do everything that I wasn't allowed to do. I partied.
And that's exactly the way that it happens, right? You bust free. Yep. And you go crazy. And yeah, it's insane. It's pretty crazy. So yeah.
I sold drugs, I did drugs, and went to concerts, and I did everything that I felt I lost out on when I was a teenager. I made out for, like Temple when I was on. And then I got into heroin, and I loved it. I ended up doing it for like 20 years. It was like the love affair just like started, and it was like an every day, every time I could get anything. And then that started me off stripping because I realized how easy the money was. So that's what I did for 10 years probably. And I felt guilty about things I was doing, but the fact that I felt guilty about it didn't stop me from doing them. It just made me more miserable. And it just made me want to get high more. It made me want to do whatever I could do to get away from like the way that I was made to feel about myself while I was there. Because I was really made to feel like I was like the biggest piece of shit on the face of the earth. And I was always just going to be good for nothing. And that was really like what Alon instilled about me to myself.
I was into some very dangerous.
Oh, Thor, you live in Maine. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. So this really, really touches home for you. Not, so to speak, home, Wow. Oh my goodness. Absolutely, Cheese. I would love to do a stream where you come on up and tell your story. We could definitely set something together. Absolutely. We'll talk about it for sure. I would love that. I know that you have quite the story. So, yes.
Dangerous stuff. And there is a distinct possibility that if I didn't go it all alone, I could have died. There's also the possibility that I could have straightened myself out. I don't know. But the way that Elan had taught me how to live my life worked. You know, I didn't act off my feelings. I didn't let my feelings get to me. I went to college. I met my wife. I had a family. But all of a sudden, I got to be about 33 years old, which was maybe 15 years after I had left Elan. And all of a sudden, I found myself, I couldn't deal with anything.
Hey, Michael.
Something had changed inside me that my feelings totally overtook me. I had missed.
That's a great question. That's a great question, Michael. He's asking Thor, like, what mechanisms does your home country have in place to prevent these things, these things from happening? That's a really good question. And I'm sure, yeah, let us know, Thor. Absolutely. Hey, Celia, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, geez, really? Oh my goodness. Well, if you're willing to include that along with your story, then send me some stuff, and I will definitely put something together that we can feature your story. Absolutely, I would love to do that.
Oh, that'd
And
be
anybody,
awesome.
yeah, absolutely, right. And anybody up here, that's in here right now, you guys, anybody is welcome, all the time. Anybody at all. If you would like to tell your story, come on up. My panel is open for you guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't, well, that's fine too. I mean, no pressure on anybody. But if you do, then absolutely reach out to me, and I would love to have anybody up. So sure. Oh, Thor says, we caught youth at a young age, proper therapy, medical treatments, and treat them with respect and care and empathy. And that is awesome. That's the way it should be done, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, it should be done like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, geez, we'll talk. Absolutely.
Missed my childhood.
And sorry, I say absolutely a lot. I don't know why. It's just one of my words. I say it a lot, but
Favorite word.
I just noticed I said it like 3 times in a row or something. So it's like, damn, I say it a lot. So.
Favorite word.
Yes.
And that bothered me because I knew I could never get it back. By the time I was 36, I was shooting 25 bags a day of heroin.
I think Elan really fucked up my life. I hear the negative screaming at me in my head frequently, and especially when I'm down or I'm feeling insecure about, instead of giving myself a pep talk, those voices come in my head. I can't say what would have happened had I not gone there, and maybe I have a little bit of mental illness besides. I think that's why most people end up there. They're acting out in some way, but it really fucked me up.
One of the reasons that Elan and these emotional growth boarding school kind of places caught on with parents is a lot of parents wanted to avoid psychiatric labels and wanted to avoid medications. And so they kind of figured, if I send my kid to a place for bad kids, it's better than sending them to a place for sick kids. And they didn't realize kind of how weird that actually is. These places sort of show that there's still an enormous stigma on mental illness and addiction, and that we see teenagers as diseased just for being teenagers.
After Elan, I was sent to Perkins School for the Blind, which to me felt exactly like leaving hell and going up to heaven. I have a condition known as coloboma. My retinas and my irises didn't form all the way at birth. So I'm like at the line between legally blind and visually impaired. It not only was the campus so beautiful, like I'd never seen before, but the attitude there among people was so much different. People were more patient and understanding. You didn't have people screaming at each other. See, I was already messed up when I went to Elan. So Elan messed me up further. I felt bad enough about myself as it was, but they made me feel even worse about myself. I left there feeling like this big. I've been in counseling for years. I go to the Providence Mental Health Center. I still draw pictures of people that I like, and I make dolls of them. I was born with a vivid imagination, It does help me. They were trying to take away my fantasy world and everything connected with it, but they didn't have anything better to offer me. So why would I have given it up?
When I left Elan, I did not leave on good terms. My parents would not allow me to come home because I didn't graduate. And I was hitchhiking around and went to some dead shows, but I was homeless for a couple of years. Actually, just recently, I had access to my psychiatrist's recommendation to send me to Elan. And the recommendation specifically stated that I needed a warm psychotherapeutic environment that was structured, and that anything outside of this would probably lead to me killing myself. I didn't have a great life. I was sexually abused. I was physically abused. I actually was recently diagnosed with PTSD. I suffer from severe anxiety. I have night terrors, and most of the time I'm dreaming about Alon. My husband wakes me up a lot saying that I was screaming. And I truly think that if it wasn't for my husband's patience and love and understanding, that I really think that doctor's report probably would be true. I probably would have killed myself by now.
My goodness.
I'm intelligent enough and I've seen enough in the world to know that once you go to a needle, the only thing after that is death. So I'm sitting there and I've got my bags lined up and I'm ready to do my ritual, because it's very ritualistic, you know, to prepare your stuff and get everything set up. And it's almost the process is almost part of the whole addiction. But I'm thinking to myself, Kitty, you know better than this. I threw away so many opportunities, you know, a college education, a chance to start over. I didn't know how to handle being social in a normal, functional way, because all I knew about being social was what I learned through Elan. So I struggle. My cousin takes care of me because I can't even go to the grocery store without worrying about being caught in a loud place or in a situation that I'm around a lot of people. My first instinct is to shrink down. I never had panic. I never had anxiety before Elan. You know, I didn't understand what a panic attack was until I got there. And now I still have them 20 years later. But I know for a fact that when I'm done shooting up this syringe full of brown shit, that I'm going to feel real nice.
Oh my goodness. You see that? Oh my goodness. Oh, Jayla was pulled out of Elan by her social worker on February 21st, 1998. She passed away on December 23rd, 2016. Oh, that's sad.
When I escaped Elan, I did it third time successful. They let me onto the house. They made me go scrub a dumpster. And I popped out of the dumpster, ran like hell. So I went into the woods where I met a guy named Sticks, who was an old shell-shocked Vietnam veteran. And he lived out in the woods, and everything he made was built out of sticks and stones. I guess that's how he got his name Sticks. Anyway, he taught me the art of living outside. So I got pretty good at it, you know, and for a little over a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, I never came out of the woods, you know. I just lived in the woods all that time. And I guess it turned out to be a good thing, because all that, you know, I ended up really learning the art of survival, you know, and now that's what I do up north is I teach wilderness survival. So to me, it was quite the learning experience, and I've learned many things since then because I've just constantly been on the run. Elan being the last place I ran from.
That's very true. Mitten, that's very true. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Stargazer. The stuff is important to show. Absolutely.
One of the times I was on the run, we stole this kid's mother's car. When I came back, the sheriff's in the house saying, "You're fucking leaving." And, you know, there you go, straight to jail. And ended up being sentenced to 2 years, which sucked. But, you know, I learned my lesson that, you know, I wasn't doing that again. Because as a juvenile, I did all kinds of stupid, retarded, ridiculous shit. Once they put me in jail, I realized that I like to go to the refrigerator and get a Coke when I want, you know. Like pussy, there was a pussy in jail. And then nobody's chasing me anymore. You know, now I'm 18, nobody's trying to tell me what to do. So once people stop trying to tell me what to do, I didn't have anywhere to go. It was on me, you know. So once they stopped chasing, I didn't have to run anymore.
I was there to be punished. I was there to do 5 years. When my 5 years was up, I was gone. Elan didn't hurt me with words and things like that. Those have no bearing on my life.
5 years. 5 years, these kids. At least him, you know. Some of them might not have been for 5 years. But they were put there, and they were just left there. The hands of these, I'm going to say, abusers, for 5 years. That's a long time to be yelled and screamed at and berated. My goodness.
Like, because as far as I was concerned, I had no home. I was already being abused. I was already in the street. You know, you wasn't hurt me because I couldn't make a phone call. I had nobody call. It didn't hurt me because Christmas, I didn't get no present. I had nobody give me a present anyway. I had no one to say Merry Christmas to anyways. So it didn't hurt me along those lines. It caught me other ways. It caught me because I got no education. I didn't learn anything along those lines. It didn't prepare me for the day when I turned 18 and they sent me to Hoosick School up in New York. I was in a school, I couldn't read the books. What was I gonna do? And I started drinking. You know, I got arrested a couple times. They sent me to Honor Corps. But then next thing you know, I started committing assaults. I started robbing people. You do what you have to do to make it. My stomach growled. I see somebody walk down the street. You do what you got to do. That's dinner. You know, it's nothing to be proud of or anything like that. A grown-ass man has to rob somebody just to, you know, to eat. But that's what I did.
I'm glad I worked at Elan. You know, I'm glad I met you all. It's like you were my children. But I'm not happy with, I'm sad that other people didn't get what everybody else could have gotten or whatever else. And I'm sad if they felt like they were abused or whatever else for them. But I'm still going to go to sleep tonight.
can't remember exactly how I found out about Elon. I probably read an article about the Michael Skakel case.
Throughout the 80s and 90s, Elon had gone through many changes due to ongoing pressures from social services and modern age views on mental health treatment. Many of the
We're like right at the end. We're right at the end. Jeez. It's we're at 1:40. There's only about 8 minutes left. So
humiliation tactics such as costumes and spankings were dropped. By 2001, Elon no longer used the ring. However, it really wasn't until the Michael Skakel trial that Elon's violent past came back to haunt it.
I got to do an op-ed for the New York Times a few years ago, and I called up the New York State Department of Education and was horrified to discover that they were sending some learning disabled kids to Elon. The state went in and did an investigation, and that's when New York said, we're not sending any more kids. What was interesting about that was Maine had been doing investigations for years and never finding anything. New York, in its first investigation, found kids restraining other kids, sleep deprivation, attack therapy. They found all kinds of bad stuff. Why? Because Maine always announced when it was coming in advance, and New York just went in. And I think it's pathetic that the state of Maine, for decades, announced when it was going to investigate a place that was known to be abusing children.
However, in the end, there was a greater force that brought about the end of Elon's 40-year reign.
Elon wasn't closed because of laws or because it broke any specific state regulation or, violated any codes. They were closed because they were hitting the wallet. The internet closed Elon down.
In the beginning, I was like, I'll just be me. But people started coming out of nowhere and sending me death threats. And these people may just have a vendetta against, oh, that's the guy who closed it? That's the guy who made us go bankrupt? So when I started my crusade against Elon, it was maybe 10 years after I got out. And I just thought, well, hey, I'll just make a blog about it. But at the time, that really wasn't enough. I went on this website that my friend showed me. He said, check out this website. It's called Reddit. And I made a post, and I already had a long bullet point list. I was very excited. I hit submit. And let me tell you, it went totally viral. It had like 5,000 upvotes. It was on the front page. It had thousands of comments. I mean, maybe 10, 15,000 comments. I can also remember very vividly the first comments, and it was some guy who wrote, I didn't believe this when I first read it, but then I went on Google and I typed in the Elon School, and I can't believe what I'm reading. And that was it. I mean, once this Reddit community got a hold of it, which is like hundreds of thousands of people, it just spread like a virus. It went all over the internet.
We had all said to each other on many occasions as residents in the house, if we could all get together and make somebody listen to us. But we didn't have social networking. We didn't have emails. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have all these things.
But now with the internet and parents who are considering sending their kids there, they're going online and Googling Elon and seeing all these former residents who have nothing good to say about it, or most of them don't have anything good to say about the place.
And that was it. That was it for Elon. And a lot of other alumni helped me.
People insisted on being heard, and people wanted their story told, and people wanted
Is the truth.
a sense of justice.
So in effect, we shut them down.
But again, I wish it had happened years sooner.
So looking back, would you?
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I'm gonna go back. I missed it. Sorry.
Is the truth.
A sense of justice.
So in effect, we shut them down.
But again, I wish it had happened years sooner.
So the Elon School shut its doors on April 1st, 2011. Wow, that's really crazy. That's quite amazing that they operated that long. That's a long time. Wow. So many kids. Can you imagine how many kids went through there in that many years? Wow.
Wow.
That would be a good question, Tazzy. Yeah, can they do a class action lawsuit? Absolutely.
So looking back, would you have left Elon when you had the chance?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, with what I know now, yeah, I would have ran as far as I could.
The people who have been to Elon have been through a very personal war. They, by and large, are truly some of the boldest individuals you will ever meet.
Going through hell and getting spat back out will definitely teach you some shit.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it, and anything that didn't fucking kill you makes you stronger.
As the name you have now, the last stop, mine is jail. It really kind of was the last stop for me. I mean, they wanted to force change. Sometimes change isn't easy.
And to this day, I believe Elon is the best and worst thing that happened to me.
This is a book that I published. It did help me a lot writing about all the things that happened, getting it off my chest. And I designed the picture for the front cover. It's like an institutional setting with me sitting there daydreaming about a man who I wish was my father.
No. I'm going to screenshot that. Give me a second. My daughter works in a bookstore, so maybe I can get her to find this book for me.
That was the way I sometimes was amid the chaos, sitting there with the sketchbook and the crayons. And then on other occasions, I was a part of the chaos.
I grew up, I wanted to be a
Nikki, yeah, there was a little blurb in there that had said something about that they were not allowed to sue. It was in the contract that they signed. So I don't know. That might be maybe why. I there might be loss. I'm not sure, but we're almost done here. So let's watch this right to the end.
Thug. I wanted to be a gangster, because that's all I knew. But then I might watch TV. I watch the Hallmark Channel. I want to cry. Be like, wow, this is the perfect family. What the fuck happened to me? I wish I had that, but it's not going to happen.
I've definitely spoken to my family about Alon on a smaller scale, though, with my family, because a lot of them wouldn't understand exactly why I got sent there to begin with. They don't know about my father and like the stuff that he had done to me, so they wouldn't really get why it all happened. But with my friends, I feel very open about talking about everything with Alon because we have something to talk about. We can all like relate on such specific things. It's fun and it's funny. But I would say the relationship that I formed with Jessica, I would say the same as some of like the best friends I've had since childhood.
I still think about Alon. I think about the friends I had there, if they're still around or not. I know most of them ain't.
It kills me because I know that there's other kids. I just know that there's other kids that left out of there and felt the same way I did. And they didn't get a chance to find out what I know now. I don't know why I was spared.
Hey,
and why
Buttercup.
I'm still alive today. Like, by all means, I should not even be sitting here. And I just know, like, so many kids killed themselves and died of overdoses. And I don't care. Like, we have comments, but, like, we were kids. You know what I mean? And they took everything. They took everything away from you.
People at Alon 6, I would like to say, I'm sorry if I hurt them. I was doing what I was told. I was doing what I felt I had to do to get out of there. It was not a personal thing against them. If I hurt somebody, I'm sorry. And I hope that they can find it in their heart to forgive me.
Well, I'm hoping that there will not be any more troubled teen industry. There's always been this sort of thread since Sparta where, we can make tough people by putting them through tough things. But that doesn't mean that we should traumatize people.
I think that everybody wants to be heard, especially teenagers, but they also need to hear.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's probably all I'd have to say about that.
Wow, that was crazy.
Damn.
Oh my gosh. That was insane, you guys. Wow, that was insane.
Crazy as freaking Penhurst was, and Penhurst was pretty bad.
Yeah. Thor is saying if you ever need a medical professional on panel, I can come up. Just let me know in advance. I'll show you my credentials before as well. Cool, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Definitely, that would be great.
Awesome.
Yes. Alrighty, you guys. Well, you made it almost 3 hours. Jen, I will tell you if you don't shut your live off, you'll be able to go for a little bit longer if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're like you said, you only had like 2 hours 2 hours left or something.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't shut it off, you can still you can still stream for a little while.
Okay.
But as soon as you shut it off, yeah, you probably won't be able to come back on live again. So if you want to stay,
man, just everybody cross their fingers. I get the stream yours back for Monday.
Yes, absolutely.
I've been working on my online games that do give out payments.
Nice.
And
Nice. Right
the
on.
ones I have, it's low payments. It's like I've really got to build it up.
Yeah. There you go. You'll get it, girl. I know you will. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, you guys. Oh, geez, thank you for sending it to me. I really appreciate that. I really do. And if any of you that are listening right now, if any of you have a story that you would like me to talk about or show or, feature, whatever, please feel free to send it to me through my email. I mean, of course, I'm not going to see everything that you guys see and vice versa, right? So you guys might come across a story that is just like, wow, what the hell? Please feel free to send it to me. And I will definitely have a look at it and see if we can talk about it. Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki, for putting my email. I appreciate that. So, Mama, I love you too, honey. I really do.
And thank you for sharing my link throughout the stream here, guys. Mods.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not subbed up to Jen, please do go over and sub up to her. She tries to go live every night. So, yeah, go and hang out with her for a little while. Give her some watch hours and a thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. So yes, supporting each other is the way that we're going to keep going and keep growing. So, alrighty, you guys. I will be live a little bit later. I do have to pick up my daughter tonight at work. I believe she works until 8 o'clock my time, Pacific. So it'll be after that sometime. But we will come back on and we will do a little Betty bullshit. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Betty situation. And I haven't actually on my channel yet gone over her response that she submitted to the courts. So maybe we'll go over that a little bit tonight. I have it all redacted and it's ready to go. So yes, we'll probably do that a little bit later tonight. So yes. Probably, yeah, a little bit later. I'm not sure exactly what time, like I said, but I'll be up later. Definitely. And we'll do some chatting and stuff. So I thank you everybody for being here with me today. I know this was not, the drama that's out there on the streets, but it actually is a little bit, drama. Absolutely. If you think about it.
It's something that needs to get out there, that needs to be awareness, because we still have stuff like this, or institutions are still treating these people, kids, whatever, the way they are. We need to get this out in awareness and get them shut down and get people in safe areas.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So if you feel like it, please share the stream maybe and have some more eyes on this story. And I am going to look more into this. There are also other schools that we can probably talk about. And guaranteed there are places like this that do operate today. They're out there. I probably can, I don't know if I can guarantee it or not, but in my opinion, they're still out there. So I'll try to dig into that a little bit and see what we can come up with, So yes. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me this afternoon. Fairy Meadows and Cheese, Stargazer Mom, Laugh at Life, Thor. I really, really appreciate your input and all that stuff. I love learning, like what you said about, your home in Scandinavia. I love learning about all kind of stuff like that. So it's awesome. Turtle and Nikki, Mint Mama, Wise Angel, Claire, Tazzy. I hope I don't miss anybody that's in chat. If I do, then you can holler at me later.
And thank you, Whispers, for letting me spotlight you for the week. I appreciate it. It's getting your channel out there and getting more people to come in and check you out.
Yes, absolutely. I really appreciate that. That was so awesome. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't get into too many of your lives. I just happened to miss them, and yeah, I apologize for that. But yeah, absolutely, that was amazing, and I can't wait until you get into a little bit of the other stuff that you're thinking about doing. So
yeah,
I think
I'm doing the spot right now. I'm doing the spotlights of each channels, and over downline we got a lot of interesting channels I got from all sides, guys. And
nice, awesome.
If you want your channel spotlighted, give me an email. My email's in my about. I'd be happy to spotlight your channel.
Awesome. That's very cool. I love that. We can all support each other. And yeah, absolutely. I love
We're
that.
all the way up into the second week of March, sis.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Oh my goodness. Wow. I look forward to seeing who you all bring along. That's amazing. Wow, good for you. That's amazing.
And next week is going to be Nothing But's Paranormal.
Oh, awesome. Yay, I love that. Oh my goodness. I am going to look forward to that for sure. If I can't be there, then I'll definitely catch the replays. Absolutely. My goodness, that's going to be interesting. So yeah. Hey Kara, yes. We're at the end. But I'll be live a little bit later tonight.
And I probably won't be going live because I know I went over my time, guys. It's like I said, I will try over for the weekend. I will not be live over the weekend, but I will be in the YouTube streets looking in.
Yeah,
So
that's
like I said, I
nice.
just gotta build it up and get the screen yards paid, and I can continue. Otherwise, I just gotta figure out something how to do it through YouTube.
Right. Yeah, I've never done it through YouTube, so I hear it's quite different. So yeah, yeah.
Yes,
But
yeah, they changed a lot.
yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, so group hug. Everybody get a group hug. Today was very hard. So I totally appreciate you guys hanging in and telling us your stories and sharing a little bit of yourselves with us throughout this live. So I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to turn up. We can end with something here. Just give me a second. And we can end with something because last night I just kind of shut it off because we had a staff meeting.
Yep.
So let me bring something up here. I also just saw a little teeny tiny little thing, something about Morbid going live, and it did have to do with Betty. So if you guys want to go check that out later, I'm not, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed with this interview, but that's whatever. That's his thing, so. Okay, where are we going to go today? I have too many ending videos to scroll through. I do. I have like all Halloween stuff and everything. So, oh my goodness. Okay, what is this one? Let's open this one. Let's see what this one is. Let me listen to it. Oh no. That one has music to it, so I don't want that. Oh shit. Just talk amongst yourself for a moment while I keep fucking things up over here.
Oh, you're not messing nothing up. But yeah, I hope you guys all had a good day. Yeah, do catch Wispy tonight when she comes back.
Yes, I will be on. Definitely. We'll do part 2 of some Betty BS. And we'll go over a little bit of her. Go ahead, babe.
Thank you to my mods over on my stream. Adjust Your Focus and Dragon, which is my new mod.
Right.
And
awesome.
Nuck and Butts, thank you if you are listening. Thank you, Nuck and Butts, for being in the background if you are watching.
Right, absolutely.
And thank you for the mods over here.
Yes. Okay, this was a popular one last time. It's a little bit of relaxing after. So just give me a second here to pull it out. Okay. All right, you guys. This was a popular one, so I think this is. I love this. I want this bathroom. I'm not even joking. I want this bathroom so badly. But
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't grab the video that I had on my stream that I had in the background.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Wait till you do.
So
You're gonna be like, ah.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll go look for like right after I end this. So I'll go take a look for sure. So you might be late, but we'll get there. Okay, no worries. Alrighty, guys. I hope that this little bathroom here helped you unwind a little bit after everything that we just watched today. So yeah, I appreciate you guys and thank you for being here. And I love you all. Hugs for everybody. And never forget, you're a survivor. You are a survivor. No matter what you've been through, it doesn't make you who you are. But on the other hand, it does make you who you are because you're a fucking survivor. So don't ever forget that. Yes. Alrighty, you guys. I'm going to kick myself out, and we'll talk to you guys soon. I love you guys. Be careful out there on the
Yes, love and
streets.
hugs,
Never
everybody.
walk alone. Never walk alone. Never walk alone. So, yes, don't go chasing waterfalls. Absolutely. Thank you, Thor. I appreciate that. Love back to you. Love back to you. All right, you guys. I'll see you in a few hours. All right. Go have some dinner. See you guys in a bit. Bye.
Bye.